everybody. Welcome to another episode of Sasquatch Out of the Shadows Live. As always, I'm your host, Alex Pedikov. I hope everyone's doing well on this Monday night so far. I know excuse me, that is the the usual spiel. It's Wednesday night. See, I don't even know what day I'm in. Obviously, we were supposed to have the show Monday, but we didn't end up doing that. I had a scheduling issue. So just been really busy lately. A lot of stuff going on. Getting ready to go to Alaska here soon as well. And I'll talk more about that in a future show. But definitely some exciting stuff coming up here with the show. And I'll talk a little bit about that. We're going to be probably we are actually going to be doing a really special 100th episode. So right now this is 97. So we have two shows. So I'm actually going to do two next week. There's going to be one Monday night and then one Wednesday night as well. So this won't be a regular thing doing the Wednesday night, just tonight and next week. I miscalculated the number of episodes I had somehow. I don't know. It's tough when there's that many. But I want to end on a little bit of a high note because after the 100th episode, I will be taking a little bit of a break. I'm going to be busy with a lot of stuff, so I'll probably be doing a hiatus on the show just for a little bit, maybe a month or a little over that. So we'll talk more about that. But that 100th episode is going to be May 2nd, I believe. You just check my calendar. Yep, May 2nd. And we're going to do a charity giveaway / contest. So it's going to be really fun. We're going to have a bunch of people on. We're going to have some awesome prizes. DVDs, comics, Bigfoot related stuff from Emily of the Forest Floor, lots of cool stuff. And we're going to do essentially, I haven't decided yet, but we're probably going to do around 5 giveaway items. So what's going to happen is there's going to be sort of bidding. So you put in an amount monetarily, and then up to a certain amount increases your chances. So I have we'll put your name down and you get that many chances. So let's say, basically how I have it structured is maybe $5 will be one entry, $10, and it'll go up to 20, 25, and every $5 is an entry. So you'll get, so you put $20 in, that would be 4 entries. And then at the end of the show, we draw your name from the hat or the bucket, whatever we have it in. And we're going to be giving away 5 prizes from that sort of thing. And all that money will go to a charity, probably Merlin's Kids, one of the charities I've done before with this show, where they work with children and rehabilitating dogs with troubled children and that sort of stuff. It is a charity I really like. So we'll talk more about that. We're also going to we'll be giving away 3 other prizes that are just contest based. So there'll be like trivia questions. We're trying to figure it all out. It's a work in progress. So we'll keep you guys posted on that. But just want to say hey to everyone in the chat. We're going to do a little bit of a different show tonight. I guess it's not really going to be a solo show because I'm going to have people on. But that's sort of, I was originally thinking about doing a solo show. And then I was like, let me try this kind of open mic type format. Thought that was sort of cool. So just take a moment here to say hey to everyone in the chat. We've got Matt, Central Florida Bigfoot. Bring it on. Making dinner now. Will surely pop back in chat in 30 minutes. Cool. See you soon, man. My Eyes says I have a front row seat. Right on. Enjoy. Cindy Cadell, how's it going? Says hi, looking forward to the show. I had Cindy on just a few shows ago, so that was a lot of fun. Definitely check it out. I think it was 95. I think so. I think it was a show before the last show. So go check that out. Very interesting to talk with Cindy. We've got Outback Orchard says hi, guys. New Hampshire Sasquatch. Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a good Wednesday night. Now we might actually have New Hampshire Sasquatch popping in later. I don't want to, announce this without him being okay with it. But he did say he's actually going out into the field tonight. He may come in and do a little from the field report. So that should be sort of fun. Peggy Curtis, happy Wednesday Out of the Shadows fans. How's it going? Kevin Hamilton, what is up, dude? He says, hi, guys and gals. Looking forward to this rare Thursday night edition. Oh, come on, man. Don't confuse me even more. It is not Thursday night. I had to check that. I'm like, I swear it's Wednesday. Okay, there we go. Kevin, you got me on that one. I'll give you that one. That's a good one. That's funny. Right on. So we've got Robin Moonshadow. How you doing? Hope you are doing good. Absolutely. My Eyes says we will see if Alex comes out with a burger in his hands. No, healthier option. I actually have I don't know if you can see it. It's a fruit smoothie. I have the rest of it here. I just made it before I got on the show. So that's what I'm drinking out of my South Korea flag mug. Let's see. We've got Roger Blair. Howdy from Eastern Kentucky. Tate Anonymous, who says Tate sucks. I mean, I couldn't agree more with that statement. Absolutely. Joking. Joe Turry, what's going on, Joe? We've got the Rasta Locks. Sup, Alex? What is up, Rasta Locks? And we've got Rock Kite Man. How's it going? Brent of the Tall One says, howdy, gang. How's it going? We've got Scottish Wildman. Please check out Untold Radio AM. Okay, not really relevant, I guess. Philip Ward, hi from UK. Western Bigfoot Exploration, what is going on? Papa Craig, hey there. Bigfoot Society, how's it going, Jeremiah? How you doing? Alex, what happened to your eye? Oh, wrong episode. Smedley Durant asks, how is Sasquatch? Not nice to agree with me, Alex sucks. I don't know if I agree with that one, Tate. You're pushing it a bit there. But anyway, guys, yeah, this will be a pretty informal kind of show. What I'll do is I'm going to actually have some folks on. I've got people already waiting in the back room, waiting to jump in, jump into the waters here. But I will probably post in a little bit. I don't know how I'm really going to structure this. It's really kind of just a free-for-all sort of show, but I'll post the link in the chat, I suppose. And if any of you guys are brave enough or want to come in and hang out for a little bit, you're welcome to do that. And I mean, I know it's a little bit different. It's not the normal kind of Monday night sort of show that we do. It's just more informal, but I just wanted to give it a try since we missed Monday's show anyway. Just figured that might be a good way to sort of make it up. But I will probably post that in about 15 minutes. We'll go to 8:30 because I got some people in the chat, including, excuse me, Mr. Mike Casey. What is up, Mike?
What's going on? How's it going?
Good, man. Welcome.
Good.
I don't think I've actually ever really spoken to you in this format. I know we've talked behind the scenes and everything, but how you doing, man?
Good. It is a true honor, sir. I was just actually cruising through the comments myself. I was just like, there's a lot of people, and there's Tate right there. Hey, Mike. Hey.
Tate. Well, Tate is here. I mean, I've had him in. I don't know what that picture is.
That's when you guys let me come with you to film with Carrick, and I just showed up.
That's right. Yeah.
There you go. Hey, at least he's not in a hot tub this time.
Actually,
he usually is. He usually is.
I thought about it. I thought of how funny it would be.
Just keep it going.
I have it turned on. Should I just go get in it right now?
Just keep it going. I was like, this is the most laid back show. We got Tate in a hot tub drinking beers.
Well, it's happened before.
There it is. All we're missing is that
beer. I'm drinking my fruit smoothie. Everyone's enjoying something.
That's hilarious.
I got water.
I didn't eat dinner. I was working, was editing and doing stuff, and then all of a sudden I looked at the clock and it was almost 8 o'clock, and I was like, oh geez, I gotta make something quick and enough time to make food. So stuck with the fruit smoothie for now. I'm on a little bit of a health kick here before Alaska, trying to get all into shape and everything. So it's gonna be pretty intense regiment, I guess, that I'm putting myself through.
That is awesome.
It's cool that Mike is in here. This is the first time we've actually talked like this, Mike.
All of us, yes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And Mike is going to be joining me, I think, in Bumping Lake with Paul Graves, who you're having on, Alex. Cool. And I think Tristan is going to be joining maybe. And then
I'm having Paul on next week, yeah.
I listened to that Tristan episode. That one, that vocal, that was intense.
It's weird. It's very strange.
15 minutes, yeah.
It's some weird stuff. I don't.
No, I'm excited for all of that.
Get to play I don't usually get to play, I guess, a whole lot of audio. We've done some audio, but that was just kind of cool because we just get to let it run and go through that whole format.
That way you didn't have to talk.
Oh man. Evan's saying, Alex, come to the field. I got smoked duck. Oh my god, that sounds delicious. Smoothie man, stop trying to make me hungry. Evan might be dropping in a little bit. He's actually out in the field near where we were filming just a few weeks ago, where that potential track casting that we got in New Hampshire was.
New Hampshire one, yeah.
Yeah, so that was exciting. Anyway, Mike, since you really haven't been on the show, do you want to just kind of introduce yourself to people? People know Tate. He's not really exciting anymore.
Shut up, Alex.
Mike Casey from Eastern Washington, now moved up here last August.
Cool.
Trying to think of the things that haven't really gone over. I don't know. So Little bit jumping back. So past wild man myself, crazy partier, gotten a lot of wild, crazy stuff. I can't read that, Tate.
I don't know what that says, Tate.
I don't know. But I was into a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I got it on my head, so that's why. So literally, I'm wearing the hat of it. I went to a treatment center. I was big into meth. I was big into cocaine, drinking, drugs,
geez.
all that stuff. Hanging out with the wrong crowd. And I went to this treatment center. And so when I got into that, I was actually a paranormal investigator. I'm going to admit it up front. This is something I've never gone into anybody. But when I was paranormal investigating, ghost hunting, staying up all night, strung out like crazy. I'd always blame it on the Monster rock stars, any energy drink. And so I went to Treehouse Treatment Center in Southern California, military-based treatment program. So it's structured, disciplined, down on the beach, rafting with rafts. Got a bunch of extreme. CrossFit. It turned me. I was raised not with a male figure in my life, so going to that, even at, I forget how old I was. I was 27, I want to say, maybe 20, 28. That's when I grew up. And when I got out of there, I tried to get back into the paranormal field, and I dabbled in it. I went to Arizona a couple times, had a fantastic time. Went to Tombstone, Arizona, got to investigate like the Birdcage Theater. Did a small investigation at the Doc Holliday Saloon in the back.
Oh, that's
Super cool history trip. Whenever I was ghost hunting, like I was just geeking out on all of that. Got to touch one of the safes that Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday would put their money in at like the end of their night. Like that was their bank. So I got to touch that. That was super cool. But then I had a kid. Don't want to blame the changeover on the kid, but having the kid not being, it was difficult to stay up all night not being strung out. So I found out I wasn't enjoying ghost hunting quite as much as I was in the past. Stepped out of that light a bit when the baby was born, when my first Ellie was born. And then COVID hit, and I'm one for adventures. I've been to Australia twice. I'm one for experiencing things. So even with having the kid, I knew I had the conversation with my wife. It's like, I need to be able to go and do something, like, even if it's just by myself, if you guys can't come. And then a friend of mine from the paranormal field, she was the one that was like, hey, why don't we start this Bigfoot group? Because every time we were at paranormal conferences, we would just talk about Bigfoot. And West Coast Squatchers, that's the name of the group. It's still out. Jackie, she's fantastic. I did one expedition with her up in Bluff Creek area, but that's thank you, Jeremiah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, great shirt.
Thank you.
Nice
but that it made me see how I like doing things sort of my way. I like spitballing ideas, but the way she was working it, I was just not into. And then I realized I'm part of this group, like I'm part founder. I don't know what she labeled me as, but I was just like, that's too much. I'm too far into this. And I did not enjoy our first trip out. So I cut ties with that real quick. And then just like when I was paranormal investigating, I just went off and did my own sort of things. I was trying to count on my hands the times I did Bluff Creek area. I never made it to the Bluff Creek site, but I want to say I've been up there 5 times. I stayed at the Bigfoot Motel once for the
meth story, running into the running into the grow operation out there.
That was one of the trips. Yeah, I actually went up there. That was one of the guys I work with. I do pest control, and one of the guys, he was just like, yeah, sure, I'll go camping. That's what he saw it as. And we could not, again, we were trying to get to the Bluff Creek site, and there was too much snow on some of the roads. And my mind, I just don't read the fine print on the websites that says, in these months, gates are closed, snow's on the road, don't go on these roads. So of course I go on those roads. And
Makes sense, right?
it was fun. That trip we wound up, what was it, Aikens Creek Campground?
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, it was
Wow.
funny. We actually went to that little what is it? There's like that Bigfoot camps or motel that's like right there down the road. And we got there at like 11:30, and this guy comes out with a
Campground.
ponytail, and he's like, "Well, there's free camping right down there." And I'm like, "Okay." So
That's awesome, man.
we went over there, and yeah, I mean, looking at the BFRO, there's vocalizations caught back in the day there. I can't remember what year, but I found out. I mean, it wasn't a bad spot that we found.
Yeah, Papa Craig here asks, are people still reporting sightings around Bluff Creek? Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, the most recent one, I don't know, Tate, if you had something weird happen there.
Well,
Or no, Stevie did, right?
we all did.
Well, we've had some, I mean, stuff I can't say 100% is Bigfoot, but like in terms of sightings, I mean, the one I can think of is obviously Bobo, James Bobo Fay. He claimed to see one right in Louse Camp. So there are modern sightings.
Yeah, the possible one I saw, the possible one Stevie said they saw.
There's no reason for them not to be in that area. I mean,
and the weird activity. The way I describe Bluff Creek is like it's definitely a place. I don't think it has as much activity as people think it does, only because it's so famous and every Bigfooter makes that journey and goes there. So it's just, in other words, it's tapped out.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean,
I do think they're there.
I mean, but that's the thing. It's like, actually, here Jonathan says Jamie saw one on the Go Road. Yeah,
that's right. Oh, I don't know if you guys heard.
I don't know about that one, but yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, you go to a place like that, obviously, it's like you know the Bigfoot magic. You don't want to interpret every weird thing that happens as being Bigfoot. And I really we tried not to do that with our trip. We had a lot of weird stuff happen, but there's no way I can say that was definitely Bigfoot. Yep. Kevin Hamilton, Boba Fett had a Wookiee sighting, or had a Bigfoot sighting, probably a Wookiee. That's good. I did just want to read a comment here. Scottish Wildman says, if anyone's wondering what Untold Radio is, it's Doug Highchick's channel. Yeah, that's right. I was confused what that was. Tonight's episode is on the Bigfoot Mapping Project.
I use that
Bigfoot Mapping Project. Scott is awesome. I mean, he's been on the show. I actually was just editing part of our Bridgewater Triangle Bigfoot thing, and we were using the map as well. It's just a super awesome site and app, and he's a great guy.
Yeah,
what's up?
I did want to read this.
Go ahead.
No, I've been trying to look at the Deduck Springs, actually. I'm trying to set a trip out like in the next week or two, probably 2 weeks. But looking at Scott's mapping stuff, that's helped out. At least not like, I mean, I know Deduck Springs, you can only get to certain areas, the public can. So even just knowing areas around that area is super cool to like check in and see.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of cool areas, Mike is joining myself and Jonathan up in Bluff Creek on the 3rd. You're going to be there on the 3rd, I think. So I'm going to
3rd through the 5th is what I'm able to do right now. I mean, days can change, which
But for those probably who don't know, I'm doing another documentary. I'm doing a few actually now, and Mike's going to be up there. We got some cool stuff planned, bro. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm super excited. I'm trying to hold back my geeky newbie side, being like, oh my god, I got invited to go out here with these guys, and the drones is something that's on my mind the past. I mean, Alex, your guys' show is the one that's just hyped me up on getting a drone. I mean, the shots that you guys get, just the ideas are just they're going like this, but then life,
cool.
You know, like
Alex,
saving up.
And make sure you give Mike a heads up what he's getting himself into with camping with me.
Yeah, well,
I heard there's awesome burgers all the time.
Well, that's if you're camping with me. If you're with Tate, you just get hot dogs. You get hot dogs that are black, burnt, and more mustard than you can eat as a human.
Whoa, that's besides the point. I can cook a hamburger, okay?
No, he's pretty good. But I usually like to step the food game up. I mean, we do burgers, but I'm trying to get creative and think of more stuff I can do in camp.
Dude, do spaghetti. Oh my god. This will be the pinnacle of food you guys have cooked on Beyond the Trail. Do a lasagna.
I don't know. We'll see lasagna. Because I got the cast iron. The thing is, when we're like traveling around, when we fly to places, it's like when we were in Florida, you know, I couldn't bring my cast iron.
I know, but that's the coolest thing. If you could do a lasagna while you're camping.
No, I get that. I'm just saying it's like when we do stuff like more local, like when I'm here in New England or something, I'm able to use the cast iron. Like in our latest Bigfoot trek up there with those guys, we were making like steak tips and cooking them all. We made like steak and cheese sandwiches, and we use the cast iron for almost everything, which is awesome. But it's tough to travel with that thing. I mean, that'd be like your entire suitcase weight for like a check-in. But a couple more comments here. Stephen A says hello
Carry
from
on.
Connecticut. Jonathan says Steven Strufert head/saw one heard, I'm assuming, / someone's backyard. And then he asked, Deduct is where Freeman shot his video. Is that that part of Eastern Oregon?
Yeah. And again, it's just one of those history things for me. Like going to Bluff Creek, of course, that's going to be my first place I go. I was living in Reno, and that was a 7-hour drive, and I packed up the truck, drove up like right after work that night. First time I got there, I think I arrived on the Go Road at like 11:30 at night. Yeah. And then I was hoping to drive and then get there and then set up camp, but that didn't work.
Right on.
Mike, have you ever taken Cedar Camp Road before?
Most likely.
Dude,
I've been all over that little everywhere.
My first few times up there, I had no idea the Go Road. And so every time I would go up there, I think like the first 2 times I went up there, I was taking Cedar Camp.
Yeah, Cedar Camp's the one closer to Willow Creek, right? That's farther south than Orleans. The Go Road.
It's still close to Orleans. It's kind of by the Bluff Creek Bridge where the Bluff Creek drains into the Klamath. It's right there. But Cedar Camp Road is terrible. Yeah.
There you go. Do not take Cedar Camp Road.
That might have been that rock slide one that I was telling you guys about. Like I turned onto a road and it was just like, okay, 5-point turn to turn around. Be like, nope.
Cedar Camp is dumb.
Dave DeRoy says, I had some high strangeness happen to me 40 minutes away from Risk Creek, which happened in November 2019. I don't know if either of you guys know about that location.
Dave, where is Risk Creek?
Yeah, I don't know if it was relevant to the story or not. I genuinely don't know. But Jeremiah says, I would watch the Pedikov Outdoor Cooking Show, just saying.
Dude, a bushcraft cook show.
The thing is, I'm like, there's only a few things I'm really good at cooking outside of camping. I feel like a lot of what I know to cook is while camping.
Dude,
I'm trying to step my game up. Like I said, with the cast iron, I want to do stuff in the cast iron skillet, maybe make, I don't know, cakes, that sort of stuff. I know Jay over at Bigfoot Barbecue. He's he does a lot of barbecue stuff. So I'm hoping I can learn something from him if we make it out to Washington at some point.
Sasquatch out of the kitchen.
Yeah, gourmet Sasquatching. Lure him in with the amazing aromas
there's a lot of
dinner.
I mean, it's easy to do a breakfast, right? That's like the go-to, but when you're out in the woods for a week at a time, you got to get creative with the food, and you can't just have burgers every night. I mean, I'm sure we probably could.
That's why I experiment with the char on my hot dog. Okay, it was really charred this time. What if I just tone that down just a little bit?
I don't know.
You gotta get experimental out there. You can't eat the same thing over and over.
Rainstorm.
The fun thing about camping: no trip is ever the same.
No.
So Evan here is mentioning rainstorm pancakes. This is what on our last trip we were cooking breakfast. It was going to be an amazing breakfast. It was going to be a whole cast iron. The whole skillet was the pancake, and then we got torrentially downpoured for about 3 hours right between breakfast, and breakfast was ruined. I mean, the eggs that we had ready to go ruined. Everything was ruined. We had to retreat into the vehicles, and we had this one slightly burnt, slightly cooked cast iron pancake that was stuck to the bottom because we were kind of scrambling, and we tried to eat it, and that was a mess.
That reminds me a little bit of Georgia.
Yeah, well, I mean, we didn't try to cook breakfast in that insanity, I don't think.
But still.
Could pass it off as a Dutch baby.
It was pretty bad. Kevin Hamilton says, steak or chicken fajitas are super easy, and you can pre-cut everything and bring it in a couple Ziploc bags. Just fry it up in the skillet. Yeah.
You know what I wanted to do? This like the
tacos and tortillas and stuff like that.
I really wanted to, when we were doing Florida, you, me, and Eli, I wanted to try and get like some lobster. Cook up lobster somehow.
What?
I don't know. I do not know how to do lobster, but I do.
You boil it.
I do live in New England, so maybe I'll
inject
get some
it with a bunch of butter. Oh,
It's expensive, man.
Maybe
my
I'll try it
God.
in Bluff Creek this summer.
Lobster is
yeah. What's
crazy
the
expensive.
priciest thing you spent on your camping trip? Oh, the lobster.
Oh,
What?
for me, it's the beer.
You'll be picking that up across the U.S., right? You'll be doing like a grab beer here, grab beer here, grab beer here.
I
Like,
stop at local breweries in each state to get their.
yeah.
So
I will pitch in on that.
Mark Webster here says, watch Steve Wallace YouTube channel. He stealth camps and cooks every night. Yes, I love that channel. This is Canadian guy. It's hilarious. He's done a couple of Bigfoot ones where he's actually camped in some pretty famous locations in British Columbia where there's been, I think, one of the really famous sightings of like a female Bigfoot. I don't know if it was Micah somebody was the name. Micah Creek, something along those lines. But he does really awesome videos. He'll go to like a suburban neighborhood that has a little patch of woods and go hide in the trees there and try to stealth camp in like the winter or whatever. And sometimes he's been caught, had to bail out. He's done like the storm drains under a road, like a circular one. He'll camp in there, and it's very entertaining. Very entertaining. Yeah, I highly recommend that channel.
Alex, I'm gonna take off because I got to get Robert set up on an interview thing. But
all right, cool. Well, thanks for swinging by, bud.
I'll mention a couple of things. I'm obviously doing Bumping Lake Sasquatch, but I've added onto it. It's going to be a search for Sabe. That's my new mini series I'm doing on my YouTube channel. Mike Casey here will be on a couple of the episodes that I'm doing. And then if you haven't, get this book.
Oh yeah,
That's a new one. I still need to get it. I feel so bad I haven't gotten it yet. Yeah,
Mike, I have a copy.
I have it somewhere.
Oh, sweet, solid tape. I owe you.
So yeah, I get that book. Sir Alex Petikoff wrote here an article about Bluff Creek, and
I heard
it's really good. So check that out.
That's awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, peace,
Thanks
guys.
again, Tate.
See you, Tate. Serious, true honor to meet you. Finally.
We'll in a few months we'll see each other in person.
It's gonna be a fun time. I know it.
Heck yeah, dude. All right, take care.
Oh, yeah,
see you, bud.
You better be prepared for that.
Oh, I'm seriously jazzed. I try and contain myself, but yeah, I've been so excited switching gears into the Bigfoot world. It's just so exciting.
There's some interesting stuff for sure. So Brian, he actually is our moderator. He says, I'm late. No worries, dude. Crystal says cast iron Dutch oven. That's something I want to do too. Yeah. Get a cover. I want to do pizza as well. I mean, pizza, you can totally do like a personal size pizza in the, all you got to do is get a cover part and put some hot coals on the top.
Yeah.
I've tried to do camping pizza before and it's failed because I couldn't get the top hot enough. So the bottom was really well done, but the top, it was like a bad microwave pizza.
That's gotta have that lid.
Yeah, you gotta have that top. But you learn. I mean, sometimes you're out in the bush. You gotta try to experience. Oh, Brian says we ate the Canadian bacon. Yeah, we did have Canadian bacon when the rain scared us all out. Long Island fan Victor says, do cornbread in the cast iron, add the batter and heat. Oh, I love cornbread. That would be awesome. See, thank you guys. Great idea.
Yeah, the cookbook is growing.
The cookbook is growing. We'll do well, I don't want everyone's doing a cookbook, but I
did fajitas one time and that was amazing. We hiked in, it was a birthday years ago in Tahoe, and we hiked in this big giant cast iron. It wasn't a far hike, but those fajitas, there was like 2 pounds of meat that we threw into that thing. That was fantastic cookout.
Stephen A says shish kebabs easy to pre-make and package in foil. Yeah, there's another one. I mean, thank you guys. Giving me a lot of ideas. I actually, on the note of shish kebabs, I've even thought about doing some Serbian cuisine. We have like a meat that's kind of like these meats that are easy to do. That's just basically cooking on a grill. But there's this other. It's like a flaky pastry kind of thing. I have yet to learn how to actually make it without the camping part, but I'm going to get to that point because it involves a lot of like phyllo dough layers and that sort of stuff. But hopefully we'll see. I want to expand my horizons.
You're gonna have to bring a giant just prep table on your back when you go camping, just to have everything. See, that's
the thing. If it's car camping, it's easy. But if we're going out really hiking into the bush, that's when we do those freeze dried meals, and it's a little less creative.
Tortillas and peanut butter.
Like the classic backpackers staples. I mean, but we'll step our game up with that too. But Jeremiah says, I went camping as a teen in the Adirondacks, and they made us all lug in cooking gear. The other kid had to lug in a Dutch oven for 20 to 30 miles. That is rough. Oh man.
That's some
crazy.
training. I don't know if that was just a regular teen adventure. That was a teen training camp.
That is like crazy. And backpacking gear used to be a lot heavier back in the day. I mean, in the last like 10, 15 years, especially, it's gotten super lightweight and nice.
Yeah.
R.S. Gallagher says, "Good morning, everyone from Australia. Have you ever checked out the Yowie stories you have in Australia?" Yeah, I've looked into some of it. I've always wanted to go to Australia.
I sadly was not into this when I went, but
Oh yeah,
I'm kicking
gotta,
myself
man.
that I'm just like, why you were there? Like, oh, I totally could have made a month-long adventure in Australia for Yowie. That would have been amazing.
Well, guys, I
That was years
totally
ago.
forgot about adding the link. So I'm gonna throw the link in the chat. If anyone is interested in coming on the show, I mean, you're welcome.
I think I have a
on
few more minutes too. My wife just got home and she's got the kids, so
cool. Yeah, no worries. I'll
yeah.
post that in there. So if you guys want, it's gonna be, I believe it should be posted in the comments now.
Yep.
Just copy and paste, and you should be able to jump into the show here.
Yeah, this was cool. I just got off work and Tate was like, "Hey, hop on. It's at this time." And I was like, "I'm getting home."
Well, sure. No, well, I'll have to have you on at some point when I restart the show. Like I said, after the 100th show, which is coming up in early May. After that, we're going to Alaska, and then I think I'm just going to take a little break, a few weeks when I get back. So probably won't be until June or so that I start doing the show again. But we'll definitely have to have you on to talk more in depth and talk all about areas you've been into, because I mean we've talked also, you have the Alaska connection and all that stuff, so
I know
there's a lot of cool stuff.
I'm still waiting for that actual to talk to my grandma about that. She had some lung stuff, so I haven't been able to call her, and I've been praying and hoping she's okay, but then also praying and hoping that she calls because I just was like, my mom told me this story with like these brief details and I'm like, what? So yeah, that'll be cool.
Robin Moonshadow says, "You guys have such an adventure camp cooking. Invest in lids." Yeah, I guess. Well, Tupperware, that kind of stuff. I got a lot of those leftover like takeout stuff, or you can just buy those things. I mean, those are always useful, lightweight sort of stuff. So Greg says, "Steve Wallace has a video where he heard something walking around camp all night." I don't know if I've seen that one. I'll definitely have to check that out.
That sounds awesome. I string up these lights. I don't know if you saw. So that photo with the weird figure in it. There's these string lights back there, and in my theory is if it hopefully will attract something in, but then also it casts that backlight like it's 20 feet away from the tent, so that's on all night long. If anything walks between the tent and I, hopefully I can wick the camera up and then you could see that shadow or something. I had that idea, so
yeah, that's awesome. Also might be something that attracts curiosity. I mean,
I'm hoping
primate like.
Yeah.
Chuck says, "Any researchers that are great cooks?" I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there are. There's like a few things I'm good at. Breakfast is my go-to. Like I can do a mean breakfast, but I can do some pretty good burgers and meat kind of stuff. But I don't know. I'm just trying to expand more of my in general cooking stuff, not just camping wise. But I just think it's cool to be able to do that kind of stuff out in the woods too.
Yeah, my go-to is the pancakes and breakfast burritos. That's, I mean,
it's a solid staple. It works.
Yep.
Cindy says biscuits too. Yeah, that would be a cool one to try. Robin says, "Try flatbread pizza. Flatbread is easy to cook when camping." Yeah, definitely a little bit, kind of more, not some
making me all hungry for dinner.
Ivar grilled sausage, onions, and peppers tortilla. That sounds really good. Some funny comments there, but
I'm gonna have to go through all of this because this is like a whole recipe book. I'm looking through it all.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to write all this stuff down. I do appreciate it, guys. Seriously, awesome. Scallops are awesome from a skillet. Oh yeah, I think skillet is just amazing. I mean, I think when I got it, it was like $20, $25 for a good, normal kind of size skillet. And I've used it. I've done steaks, I've done eggs, bacon, we've done pancakes, all kinds of stuff on there. I've used them in the past, but
I love being able use them downstairs in the kitchen. We use it right on the stovetop, right inside.
Right on. I know I should start doing that, get a little bit more of a
You learn the
it's good.
temperature and the heating of the pan and everything. I mean,
And it builds
yeah,
up a little bit of that
the
sort
grease
of
and grime. I don't know, the good
grime. Yeah, the
flavoring.
buildup on there
Yeah,
is good for those things.
yeah.
Mark says beef jerky only. Beef jerky is a good one.
That'll
But
bring them in.
sometimes you got to have something warm. It's just something warm. If you're out there in the rain, it's miserable.
Yep.
Warm is
I have
great.
yet to actually do a away from the truck expedition. So every time I go exploring or to do my research, I have the whole full cooktop, coolers. I've never had to pack for just like I did when I was in Australia. Like for those long trips where it was the tortillas, peanut butter.
Well, there you go.
Nutella.
That's where Mothman brings in the Captain Crunch is the best
Yep.
camping cuisine. That when you're backpacking, it's tough. I mean, that's definitely a little more difficult because you're trying to figure out every ounce counts. So that's why those freeze-dried meals are amazing. I might start getting into freeze-drying my own stuff. Like those Mountain House meal type things are great. They're a little pricey for the amount of food you get. Like it's, I don't know, between 10 to $12 at this point for like a thing of lasagna or whatever the case may be. So it's a little pricey, but the convenience is there. But like getting into freeze drying, you can basically do that with almost anything.
It's not a bad idea.
Patrick Collins says, how about making chili? That way Squatch will smell something bad in the woods. And like, what the F was that? That sounds good. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds actually pretty good. I've done stews before. That actually we did one in winter. I usually do a stew. We'll do like, potatoes and sauce and some beef or something like that. It's almost like a goulash kind of thing. I like the goulash. That's sort of from my family.
I love
background.
the smell of chili cooking.
Chili's awesome.
I'm drawn to that. That's not a bad smell.
So my eyes, I'm surprised. Yeah, you know about Ivar. It's a Balkan red pepper sauce. Yeah. In my family culture, we make that a lot. It's a big deal in Serbia and Bosnia and all of these places, and it goes great with the meats. Really good. I'll definitely have to bring some of that out. We got Nikki actually has popped into the chat. What is going on, Nikki?
Hi.
Hello. How are you guys?
Doing?
This is the first time I've seen you have a free-for-all.
Yeah, I decided to kind of do it because I was having some scheduling issues, missed Monday's show. I was supposed to have someone on tonight and they couldn't do it. So I was like, you know what? Instead of doing a solo show where I just talk, I'll just throw it out there and have people come on and kind of.
You'll always get somebody to come on.
This is cool.
Exactly.
And go after.
Oh, I know.
It's actually it's my duty to go get the kids, so I got to take off.
I got you, man. No worries.
Seriously, this was super cool. Alex, great meeting you, sir. Nikki, I'm sorry I got to take off right now.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
Keep it up, dude. We'll definitely talk. And like I said, when I start doing the show again in the summer, we'll have you on and we'll have a full in-depth discussion. And I'm sure we'll talk behind the scenes. So
yeah, stay connected. I'd love to spitball more ideas, plan some stuff. That'd be awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Cool.
Take it
Bye,
easy.
guys.
Bye.
So what's going on, Nikki?
Nothing. I'm gonna be doing a late night tonight, probably around 8, just to see what's happening. But no, just doing my Sunday shows. And actually, I took Easter off, and it was a nice little break. Definitely, I needed it.
It's tough when you have like a sort of schedule you keep to it. It's like you do a show every week, or I mean, especially if you're doing multiples, it gets. I don't know. That's why, like I said, I'm doing a bit of a hiatus after the 100th show. I was like, I'll hit that benchmark and then take a little. We're going to be going in Alaska anyway, but after that, I figured, might as well give myself some buffer time and figure out what to do.
I'm only on number 28 because I only do the one Sunday show.
Yep.
But I started doing the late night show, which can happen at any time whenever I feel like it.
That's awesome.
And then I was kind of like doing the Harry Man home cooking stuff, so every now and then there's a cooking show out of nowhere that comes in there. And that's fun. But I have to do it when I feel like it because it seems like nothing happens right way when I try to plan for that one.
Well, that's cool because I mean, I'm sure you heard we were talking about camp cooking and all that stuff.
Yes, I was.
Do you have any favorite camp cooking recipes or anything like that you like to do?
Oh, well, we're pretty, everybody mentioned pretty much the stuff we like to do. The fajitas is a big thing because it's so easy to pre-do if you're doing the tent camping and stuff. The last few camping trips I've been glam camping, so I
Yeah,
have
well,
to.
that's what's fun when you do the glamping and stuff because you can
Yeah,
just go all out. I like we were
yeah.
talking about with Mike, even when it's the backpacking, every ounce counts, and then I end up
Oh,
eating those freeze
absolutely.
dried things, and some of them are good, some of them are very hit or miss. So
I know
uh,
somebody was saying the jerky. I mean,
that's
that
hey,
always went into the backpack was the jerky.
man, I got to tell you, there was this jerky that we got. So when we were in Florida, we went to Costco and they had this jerky. It was like a Korean barbecue pork jerky. And I
Hmm.
bought a few bags. And it ended up being probably the favorite item of almost everybody. And like when we met up with
Wow.
Matt, Central Florida Bigfoot, we were handing it out to everyone. And it's like, oh my God, where do I get some more of this stuff? So every time we saw Costco, we had to stop just to get that jerky
Just to
because
get
it
that.
was it was like you cannot go wrong with jerky. But I definitely
You can't,
recommend.
but it's so dang expensive. The good stuff is
I
very
know, it really
expensive.
is.
And I don't like that over processed jerky, really. I
I
like to
don't.
do the hometown stuff. The small
Absolutely.
businessman does that really dried, really
Yep.
carne seca type of meat,
Sure, sure.
and that costs more.
Well, even the Jack Link stuff, I mean, it's a lot of processing, and a lot of these things have MSG and those kinds of
Yeah,
things,
they're
and
kind of mushy, and
the
I don't
additives,
really
yeah.
like.
So, I mean, this one was really good, though. I don't remember the company, but it was, like I said, it was like a Korean style.
Uh huh.
The less ingredients, the better. I mean, it was like your basic kind of ingredients, no MSG. It was
I
really,
actually worked for a guy who made jerky, and
oh,
he
interesting.
had over 60 flavors of jerky that we would do. Not all of them at the same time. He would pick like 5 or 6 flavors for the week, and that's what we would make. And man, he had the recipe down. He
That's awesome.
marinated that meat a full 24 hours before we dehydrated it. And he did very well. He tried to sell me the business, but of course I wasn't ready to buy anything at that time. And but he retired, so now it's no longer anywhere. But
Yeah,
big
it's
deal.
it's one of those recipes. We made some when I was in high school when we did survival training. I was doing this
Mm,
naturalism stuff, and
mm-hmm.
that's where I really got into a lot of my love for the outdoors. And we kind of made our own with some with local cow meat that we got from some farmers, and it was an interesting process. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
because we were doing all these not wild edibles, but we had to make a lot of the food for this big trip we took to the Smoky Mountains. We had to basically make everything ourselves for the most part. Like I remember I had
Yeah.
to make lard. I had to basically get this like flavored lard that I could take as a supplement.
Uh-huh.
And it was just like there's a lot of food that we made. The jerky, I didn't have a really big hand in making it. I was focused on the pemmican, I think, and the acorn flour. We did, oh gosh, what's it called? So there's this acorn flour you make. Basically, we
Uh-huh.
spent all fall gathering acorns, and we made that into flour so we could make little like biscuits and that kind of stuff while we were
Uh-huh.
out there. So it's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, you start thinking about it. So, hey, what's up, Chris Spencer? He says Bart Catino is the best. A lot of people are saying Bart is the best camp cook. I'd like
Oh,
to go out with Bart. I mean, definitely interested in going out with Bart in general. So that would be awesome. And
we also
Rebecca,
always made our own camp granola or trail mix. We would
yeah,
go get the big thing of everything, mix everything ourselves, and then we would dole out, everybody their own trail mix for the
yeah, it's
hikes or
fun. I
whatever
mean,
we
fun to
did.
make your own. It's just fun to make your own stuff. I mean, yeah, you can go buy it, but I mean, that's always cooler when you get to make it.
Right. Yeah, because we would use our favorite pretzels. We would use the real M&Ms. Sometimes you get some packs and it's like they're not the real M&Ms. They're
No,
like
yeah, you get like the rip off ones. Yeah,
generics. Yeah.
yeah, the knockoff ones.
Yeah.
So Rebecca says Chris Spencer's an awesome cook, but he won't let me film him. I didn't know Chris was a good camp cook. Well, hopefully we'll be able to put that to the test at some point in the field. That would be awesome. Steve Pat says, what activities do you have planned in Alaska and how long will you be visiting? I hear it's beautiful. Yeah, Alaska is like unreal. Absolutely. We're going about 2.5 weeks, I think. We're going to be doing some filming there. We're going to an interesting property. I can't really say a whole lot about it, but it's some very interesting stuff going on there. And then we're going to be filming, Beyond the Trail stuff and other films as well with kind of the Small Town Monsters on the Trail of Bigfoot series. So it's
Is
going to
it
be
going to
it's
be
going to
at
be fun.
least like on the coast, or are you going to be like in the triangle?
Oh yeah, we're gonna be kind of all over the place. So we're starting
Oh.
out, Kenai Peninsula. We'll be visiting there, multiple
Mhm.
places in the Kenai, because we're doing 2 crews. Basically, Eli and myself are going deep into this area. It's basically, long story short, it's kind of an interesting property. Somebody I've come to know that has some really, really fascinating stuff going on their property, audio wise and encounters. Really interesting, and we're going to spend like a week out of that property. It's very remote, probably the most remote we've done with the series, probably the most remote either myself or Eli have ever really been. I mean, it's only accessible by boat or float plane.
Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
it's the pictures from the place are incredible, and I can't wait to share that visually with people, and I really hope we have something going on. Then we'll be going up to like the Denali area, north of Fairbanks. There's an area that has a long history of strange sightings and activity and that sort of stuff. There's a lot of
grizzlies up there too, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. We'll be prepared. Bear spray, firearms, all that kind of stuff. We're not taking any chances. Definitely not. But I'll talk more about that maybe on the 100th show about what's going on with Alaska. And I hope to do at least a couple live videos, maybe in between. I know when we're at the property, we will not have any service at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's going to be spotty for sure.
Yeah, it's like there's going to be guaranteed no service. The only thing is a sat phone. That's the only thing that would possibly work.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin says, isn't Jay Birch a researcher you had on the show who's known to be a good camp cook? Yeah, I have had him on the show. He does a lot of barbecue. I mean, his channel was Bigfoot Barbecue. I know he's changed it a couple times, but if you check out his channel, he's got a lot of videos about doing different types of cooking and that kind of stuff.
He knows the meat for sure.
Yeah, and I'm a barbecue addict, so hopefully I'll be able to get out with him in the field too, and he can teach me
get up there to
two.
him too. I've been thinking about that too. Maybe late summer. Maybe I take a trip up there to Washington.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. He's not far from the whole Ape Canyon area.
Mm-hmm.
Brian says those steak tips were worth every penny spent camping out there. Yeah, Brian was the one who picked up the steak tips that we did 2 nights in a row. We did steak, and the second night was like the steak and cheese sandwiches, which was fun. Somebody keeps asking about, I don't understand what this is. Alex, you considering submitting resume for Killzone/Lodge? I have no idea what that is.
Killzone Lodge.
I don't know what that is.
I've never heard of that either.
I have no clue. Jonathan, who has experience backpacking, says, I've seen some crazy stuff backpacking. One dude made enchiladas from scratch, friend them and everything. And my other friend made tiramisu while squatching in the Northern Sierras. That's pretty cool.
Well, if you have everything prepped and ready to go, you're good.
Depends how dedicated
if you want to carry, if like you said, are you going to be car camping or are you going to be hiking, packing that shit in?
Oh, absolutely. Or Prehistoric Matt says, or you can just sit in the field and eat on the edible plants like a gorilla. You got to know your stuff, though. You don't end up like Chris McCandless, and eat the wrong thing and die. Oh, geez, absolutely not. Not what you want to do. There's a lot of plants out there that can really cause some issues. Papa Craig says, chicken fried elk steak, morel mushrooms, and taters. Wow.
Tate wants in real quick.
Oh, Tate. Oh, there's the private chat. Okay. All right, Tate, you're in again.
What the people want. I'm in a hot tub.
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
I should have known. I should have known.
I just had to do that before I got started on everything I did.
My God. Okay. Here, actually, Cindy has the name. She says the name of the jerky at Costco is Golden Island Korean Barbecue. Yes, that's the one.
Golden Island. Okay.
Absolutely amazing. I just like
try it.
I like Korean barbecue, and I like pork jerky, especially, is really good. Absolutely amazing. Oh yeah, and by the way, our moderator Brian has linked Nikki's channel in the chat.
Thank you, Brian.
So that's Perryman Hoaxes and Hoodwinks. Check that out for sure. Papa says, I've spent a lot of time in Seward and Homer fishing in the Gulf around there. Oh, awesome. Yeah, I know we're going to be going to Seward, and I think Seth and those guys are going to be going to Homer. I'm not going to Homer because we'll be out on the property, but absolutely amazing. Wear your GPS in Alaska so Tate can find you if stuff goes awry. Hey there, Donald. He says, well, I had no idea of the stream. Yeah, it was, like I said, Monday was kind of a mishap. I had some stuff going on, and just decided to sort of do it today instead. But yeah, so Outback Orchard says, I need some help IDing fur hair I found this week. It is tufted off fur found in one of my trees 4 feet off the ground. It is about 3 to 4 inches long and very red in color. Fine hair like from a rabbit. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, if you reach out, I could connect you to some people that might be able to help you with that. I'm no expert in IDing hair. It's a tricky one. It could be a lot of things. But if you want to email me at sasquatchoutoftheshadows@gmail.com, I can pass you on to somebody who definitely can steer you in the right direction or knows a little bit more. So right on. But thanks for sending that. B. Lynn says, hello, everyone. Alex and Nikki, what's going on?
Hi, B. I snuck in while I could.
Absolutely. Yeah. So there's Cindy says Cindy Dosen with the OP. That's one of the people I was actually thinking of. I don't like inundating people with stuff, but like I said, there are some people out there that are definitely much more knowledgeable, especially in that kind of stuff. Robin Moonshadow also says, I can analyze the hair, but I can't do DNA. Yeah, hair analysis is definitely one thing. I mean, where you can, especially if you have a microscope and you have some familiarity, you can look at maybe what the ends look like it is and compare it to other known samples. That's when we did our Colorado episode, when we were at that property and we found, or we were given that hair sample that the property owners had. It was actually Cindy that I sent it to that was able to determine it was raccoon. Despite it initially looking pretty interesting, and a lot of people I talked to said, yeah, it looks interesting, definitely get it followed up. And that just goes to show the importance of following up or having people analyze your stuff. Don't make crazy claims or bold claims without first having it analyzed by people that are actually knowledgeable with that kind of stuff. Because a lot of times, especially if you find evidence, you're emotionally kind of invested in the evidence. You get that Bigfoot vision, which is not we don't need more of that. There's plenty of that.
Right. For sure.
Mothman 46 says, back in the day in West by God, Virginia, we put peanuts in our Mountain Dew while camping. Good stuff. Whoa. That is interesting. Mountain Dew is actually, they use it for a lot of sort of stuff down south cooking wise, believe it or not. When we were in Georgia, we had this barbecue place. Oh gosh, it was so good. They had Mountain Dew stewed apples. It was like the sweetest. It was the sweetest applesauce side dish you've ever had. And I like sweet with salty and savory. So you had the barbecue pork sandwich on one side, and then you had this Mountain Dew stewed apples. Were just chunks of apples in the sauce. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. Wow. I'm not a huge Mountain Dew fan, but I guess you can use it for stuff. I'm gonna have to try something like that.
I know we've used Dr. Pepper for stewing meat, and that's always come out real good and tender.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mark Webster also adds salted peanuts in a glass bottled Coke.
Yeah,
that is interesting. I'll have to try that. Definitely.
Classic.
Yeah. Hyromedic says, "Yep, sweet and salty, or salty and sweet, good old Mountain Dew." Interesting. You guys see, this is great. I'm gonna have to go back and write all this stuff down though. Oh, but we do have New Hampshire Sasquatch has actually popped in, so I'm gonna pop Evan in. What is going on, Evan?
Nothing much. Just got to the location.
Oh, right on. So we have sort of a from the field update. So Evan is in the location close to where you had the experience in 2018, right? That's the same location.
Correct.
Anything going on?
It is pitch black out here and it's dead quiet. Nothing. Not even peepers.
No? Hey, what's the weather like out there? I haven't checked.
Last time I checked, it was 43 degrees out. It's perfectly clear. No moon.
Okay.
So it is dark.
About 45 degrees.
Wow.
Interesting. So you're there with Ryan?
No, Ryan might be meeting me here, but I'm out here alone right now.
Right on. So Ryan he was a listener of the show, and I talked to him a little bit, and he happened to live in that same area where we had found that interesting track that Evan and Brian had actually found that track, and we got to spend a whole weekend there. The weekend before last, we did that recap show, and that was that when we were out there. But yeah, it's kind of surprising there's no peepers out at this time.
Yeah, and that's what I'm surprised about too. I mean, it is dead quiet out. There's nothing.
So are you on the road there where we found the track, or where are you at?
I am at where we filmed.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah, so
gotcha.
I'm, you know, yeah.
So
I'm
this is
right
this is
down
an
that
area of
road.
central New Hampshire, guys. That, I mean, I don't know. We're a little bit still unsure if we should name the town or anything like that. But there's an interesting history there.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's
so pretty
still
It's very
88
ominous
degrees
out
over
here
here.
right now.
What's that?
It's
It's
still
very
88
ominous
degrees
out
over
here.
I'm sorry, guys. What was that, Evan?
It's very ominous out here. It's just
Interesting.
dark, and I can't, even with the flashlight, I can't see because there's a thick fog.
There's no fog. So there is a fog. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, but it's only in one portion. Down
Well, there's
towards the
those
river
like
a little bit.
swampy areas down there. So Brian says, "I'm there mentally, Evan." So you have
That
support.
doesn't help. That doesn't help, Brian.
Kevin says, "I imagine we hear a loud scream and then his feed just goes quiet." Yeah, there you go. That's what we need, right?
Thanks, guys.
Jeremiah says, "Straight up middle of Keene, New Hampshire, where they filmed Jumanji." Yeah, that's a good location. They actually still have the I think they still have the pair of shoes mural up there in Keene. I haven't been in a while, but I do believe it's in Keene. My eye says, "I just ordered that jerky from Amazon. In a few weekends, I will be backpacking. Spring trout." Nice. Well, yeah, it's definitely good stuff. Donald Fuller says, "There are some foots around New Hampshire Sasquatch." Mothman says, "New Hampshire is Sasquatch country." Could very well be. I actually, somebody was on Instagram. Somebody made the comment. I was saying New Hampshire Sasquatch, or they said New Hampsquatch. New Hampsquatch. That's the new name of the state. Because they got Squatchachusetts for Massachusetts, but
You're right.
So it's with the clever stuff. Good stuff. Mikey, hey, Mike says, "Sorry I couldn't make it, Evan."
Oh yeah, it's fine, but there is eye shine out here.
Interesting. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
let us
I
know
think
if
there's a coyote a little bit, probably about 45 yards ahead of me.
Yeah, we experienced some typical sort of New England forest critters, deer, barred owls, that sort of thing. But
Yes.
Mike actually is really cool. Mike is another local who is also a listener of the show, and I've talked to him over social media. So we got to meet with both him and Ryan recently when we went out there, and they both know about some other weird stories in that area. So it's just a fascinating spot with a history of strange sightings, weird things going on. I mean, whether or not what we found is connected to that, I don't know. It's hard to say, but it's definitely fascinating.
Yeah, now the wildlife is starting to come out.
Yeah, you've probably been there. Your car has probably been settled in for a little bit, so things are kind of getting back to normal.
Oh yeah, the barred owls are going off.
I need a good Alabama name. That's a tough one.
So do you two agree that when you go out, it takes like some time before you start seeing movement in the forest again, like with animals and stuff? How long do you think it takes for things to settle down when you go into an area?
Yeah, I think it takes at least 10, 15, 20 minutes. Just depends on how much of a ruckus you stirred. Because if you're just hiking through the woods, and this is something I used to do, you'd hike through the woods and you just kind of sit against a tree just completely still. And I still do this every once in a while out there in the woods and just let things go back to normal. Because when you come through, you disrupt the whole area. You're just loud as a
Right.
human being, especially with another group of people. If you're doing it solo, it's a lot easier to, I guess, minimize a little bit of your impact and the noise you can make. But even just walking through the woods, crunching on leaves, I mean, we're incredibly loud.
Right.
So
That's
yeah,
what I've always done is that if I go up hiking, I stop. I stop and I listen and I let things settle down and let the birds start singing again and chipmunks start doing their thing again. And because it seems like that will all stop when you're, fooling around. But a lot of people don't agree with that. And that kind of surprised me when it came
really,
up.
Huh,
Yeah, it
interesting.
came up a couple of
Oh,
shows
I think
ago.
Evan maybe dropped out. He might have service issues. Maybe
So
maybe that's it. Maybe that's the end of Evan. But yeah, that's interesting. I mean, what's the reasoning behind that? If you're
I
familiar.
don't know. It just came up in I don't remember if it was chat or if it was in one of my live shows, but I'm like, well, you got to I remember saying you've got to let things settle down. You may think nothing's there, but if you don't give enough time for your surroundings to go back to nature,
Sure.
that you might not see anything or hear anything. And I was just like, what? No, they were saying, no, you can just go through. And if it's there, it's there or whatever. I'm like, no,
Yeah,
I don't
I
I
don't.
don't believe in that.
Evan just
But
popped back in. Yeah, I don't agree with that. I think it's. I mean, you can if you're a human, you have a chance of maybe running into an animal out there, but most of the time we're so loud that we can't even hear when an animal's leaving the area. I mean, their entire existence is based on being stealthy,
right.
being out there. So, like I said, I found that time period just let things go back to normal. Animals are incredibly patient. Humans are not. So, and so if if their entire sort of MO is staying hidden and elusive, they're got to be more patient than us. I mean, deer and other animals, they can outlast us as well in terms of just staying put for a little bit, unless they really
Right.
get freaked out. I mean, but animal behavior is also very unpredictable. I mean, they can do all sorts of things. They do things that maybe that they're not supposed to do, or maybe that they're not documented to do. That, especially when it comes to
Right.
sounds, that's where I think a lot of the sound stuff, where people are like, well, it had to have been a Sasquatch, it didn't sound like this or that, when in reality it could have been one of
Mhm.
those things that
You
we just
know,
maybe have never heard before.
I got a great example of that is how people hear like laughing in the woods
Mm-hmm.
or like a monkey. Barred owls when they're
Yeah,
mating up in a tree. I just
it's
heard that
crazy.
when I was out on when my service went out right there.
And
It's
definitely foxes sound like babies.
it's
They sound
crazy.
like babies.
Foxes can
Yeah.
do some weird noises, but yeah, the barred owl thing. I remember the first time I heard that, it was actually in the area that's now sort of. You've been there, Evan. My research spot. You know which one I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
We were camping out there, and these barred owls all night were going in the tree above, and it was like this maniacal kind of cackling. It was very creepy. But I was just like, what the? Come on, man! You had to pick the tree right above our tent. Like, I almost went out there to throw stuff at the trees. Like, let us sleep.
So
Very
hey, I just came in to say howdy do and
absolutely.
see
Thanks
what
so
was
much.
going on. If I could promote my channel just a
Yeah,
bit,
go for it.
Alex, is Harry Man Hoaxes and Hoodwinks. I'm on every Sunday, 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. This coming week, Sunday, I've got Rick Riolo coming on, so it's
Oh
gonna be a
man.
doozy, folks.
So
I'm
much for
telling
the
you, you
exit.
better be there because he's gonna let it all out, and I'm
So
gonna let
much.
him.
Yeah, so much for the exiting the Bigfoot field, right? That's
Well, yeah, he's exiting for sure, but he's got a lot of things to say about that, and I'm gonna let him. And
yeah.
actually, at around 8 or so, I'm gonna go on a late night tonight.
Yeah, so you have a
If
late night
anything,
tonight.
yeah,
That's I think 10 p.m. Eastern. So
right.
yeah. Right
So
on.
if
Well,
anybody
appreciate
wants
you
to do
stopping
that,
by.
so thanks, Alex.
Thanks so much,
Have a
Nikki.
good one. Bye.
Take it easy. So we've actually got Robin Moonshadow has decided to pop on in tonight.
Yeah.
Hey there, 10 p.m. Eastern. So can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
Appreciate you stopping by.
So
Absolutely. There's a little bit of an echo I'm getting on my end.
Here, I know what I will do.
I think it maybe maybe you have the show open in another window. Moonshadow has decided to pop on in tonight. Hey there, 10 p.m. Eastern.
Is that better?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me okay? Oh, now I got the echo.
Still getting the echo, yeah. Anything going on your end of it?
No, just some owls getting it on in the distance.
Are you just sitting in your car right now?
No, I'm down the trail.
Oh, cool. Right on.
Yeah, it's cold.
Yeah, I bet.
It's real
Did
cold
you
out
go
here.
over the bridge down there yet?
Yeah, I'm a little bit over the bridge. Probably about, I don't know, a little bit farther than that. I want to make my way back.
So I'm still getting a little bit of that echo. I don't know if maybe you want to try headphones or something like that, if possible, Robin.
How's this now?
I can hear you, but I'm getting a little bit of the echo still in the background.
I can pop out and pop back in again. We'll see if that
Sure,
works.
yeah. Want to give that a
Okay.
try? Absolutely.
Give me a second, please.
No worries. Hey there, Joe. Says Joe, Western New York Bigfoot Investigation Group. What's going on?
I'm going to shut my mic off for a minute so I can just do an owl call.
Yeah, go for it. Nate G says, do you feel there's any legitimacy to the Mono Lake, California sightings in the past? Maybe. I actually talked to a guy about a year ago who claimed to have had some experiences at Mono Lake and never really heard about the Bigfoot topic until years later. I was over on the Clubhouse app. We used to do those kind of Bigfoot meetings. So maybe, I mean, I don't really know the habitat. I know it's kind of that other side of the Sierras that's a little less forested. So maybe, I don't know, maybe there's some moving around in the area. I don't know. I don't know enough about that area, but his encounter seemed pretty legit. You know, they'd had like rocks thrown at them, I think, or something along those lines while they were camping. Tell her to turn off YouTube. Yeah, I think that's what it might have been, was YouTube in the background, the show going. That usually is what causes the echo, especially if there's no headphones being used. I usually recommend headphones. So I will pop the description again. Let's see, into the chat. Not the description. I'll pop the link if anyone wants to pop in. Throw that again into the chat. Should be there. So you got the link right there. If anyone wants to stop in for a little bit and just say hey and kind of hang out.
Can you hear that right now?
No, I can't.
Dude. There's a great horned owl out here.
Oh, great horned owl. That's awesome.
Yeah, the same one that we heard the other night.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I haven't heard one of those guys in a while. Based says, do you know about Sasquatch sightings in the southeast? Yeah, I mean, we were down in Florida. We did some filming down there, and I mean, there's a long history of sightings depending on which part of the southeast. If it's that Florida area, Georgia, there's a lot of different sightings in those kinds of areas. But I know of various sightings, kind of a broad topic, I guess. But yeah, been fun so far, guys. Just catching up to a little bit of that chat from earlier. So don't people claim it gets dead quiet right before a Squatch encounter? Get ready, New Hampshire Squatch. Yeah, I mean, the woods can be quiet at different times. It's absolutely just depends on what's going on or what the weather's like. Or
yeah, this specific area is just dead quiet right now. I mean, there's owls out in the distance, but
that is a little weird for this time of year in usually
and that location too.
These little spring peeper frogs that go in the spring in New England. You could hear them. I mean, especially if there's wetlands nearby. Mothman 46 says coyote chitlins are straight tasty. I can't say I've had that. I don't think I've ever eaten coyote before. Excuse me. Outback, first they send in coyotes to scout, then owls, then, well, we won't talk about it. Yeah, you might be in trouble there, man. Just kidding. Kevin Hamilton says, I can get really close to the animals, but then zoo security always gets involved. Oh, man, that's good. Okay, let's see. Mark Webster says, Alabama so quiet compared to Georgia and Florida. BFR database and others just don't have much. What are your theories? Too much private land. We've heard a lot of possible encounters from Alabama, the Alabama white thing. I have a book from like the 90s or the 80s that was given to me by researcher John Horrigan that has a whole booklet about sightings from Alabama. Maybe it's just reported less. I really don't know. I mean, I have never been to Alabama. That's one. Well, I drove into Alabama from Mississippi once, but that was it. It's like we got some knocks going on. So Kevin Hamilton asked, "What the hell is a chitlin? Must be a U.S. thing." It's more of like a Southern thing. It's I think it's animal innards, different types of animal meat. Just depends on the animals. Ryan, hey, what's up? So we got Ryan actually who says no beaver squats tonight. Ryan is, I guess, supposed to be meeting Evan out there. I don't know. I guess he's watching the show instead. Probably too cozy.
Yeah, Ryan, are you coming out?
He's like, oh, Evan can do all the hard work. I'll just, I'll enjoy it from home.
Well, he said that he said that he was in Newington beforehand, but
maybe he's coming up. Yeah. Hey, we got Joe of Sasquatch. What is up, man?
Hey, man. Hey, I just popping in real quick.
Welcome. Come on in. Welcome. Nice to have you, actually.
I get so many times I get to see your show, but I don't get to talk to you. And I had a really good time talking to you up there in Whitehall when we originally met. Absolutely. That was really cool. And going out that night, that was cool too.
That was fun. Yeah, with we had Steve Coles, Tactical Bigfoot Research Mike, whole other group of people. I mean, that was like 20 people going out there, and there was that local there. I remember who was talking about they've experienced weird stuff out there, but must have been kind of shocking to see that many people just start popping out.
It was a fun night. Nothing happened, but it was a fun night.
It was like 12 cars convoy heading out there, probably more. I was looking at it, I'm like, imagine just you live some backcountry road and you just see 12 cars just start driving by. You're like, is there a cartel around or what's going on?
Yeah. But now I want to comment with what New Hampshire Sasquatch said. Yeah, barred owls, man. It's crazy. I don't know how many people have had lots of people that have been out in the woods have had direct experience with that. First time I ever heard it, even me, after all this time, I was like, holy crap, because it was during the daytime. Okay. Number one, I very rarely hear owls during the day. So it caught me off surprise because normally they're nocturnal, but they do make noises during the day.
Yeah, they can definitely do that.
Find this out. But yeah, the chimpanzee or chimp thing or the very primate sounding thing that they do caught me so off guard because I'd never heard it before.
Yeah, they make some funky noises up in a tree. Like I was telling Brian and Alex, what was it, like 2 weeks ago? Behind my work, I have a mated pair of bald eagles, and they were going at it in the tree at like 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Those
birds, man. Birds are wild. They can do, and like I was saying earlier, I mean, animals can make sounds that probably have never been recorded before, or that maybe somebody's heard it, but maybe it's happened to them, but that's not something that we know about. I mean, I'll never forget some of those trail cameras out there in the wild that have gotten some of those mountain lion audio, and they'll get the mountain lion walk up in front and make this crazy sound that you don't imagine a big cat making. So animals can just be all over the place. That being said, there are some really weird stories with sound. I mean, I know with like Brian's encounter, Evan, the talking about feeling it, reverberating in his chest, that sort of thing. So I don't know. I mean, obviously there's so many unknowns and so many questions, but a lot of the other sounds that people do hear probably, are misidentifications and that kind of thing. And I don't blame them. I mean, there's just a lot of weird sounds that barred owls specifically can make.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And up until that point, I'll tell you, the only sound that I knew of a barred owl was their normal call, who cooks for who, or who cooks for you, But man, when it came out with that, and I learned from an owl expert when I sent him the audio, I learned from him, not only was there a barred owl in there, but there was another owl that it was a different species of owl. So we have several. I'm famous for saying this. We have like I think 25 different species of owls here in New York. And so it was a different species of owl, and its call was like right immediately on top of that barred owl call. And the barred owl did that little trill at the end that they can do sometimes. It sounds so chimp-like. And plus with that other one, that was a weird owl call too, all meshed together. Yeah, I was like, oh, what was that? I mean, it was close too. I never saw it, but it was close because it was so loud. And I was like, what the was that? And in my mind, that's got to be a Sasquatch.
Yeah, right. Bigfoot on the brain.
Because this is, well, and this is the same area, same general area where I'd had my encounter.
Right.
That's got to be, but no, it wasn't,
Yeah.
After a little bit of research,
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. You're able to do that and talk to, somebody who's, not a Bigfoot person, someone who's, expert in owls and bird calls. So that's great.
But then, Alex, you've always got those people. It was a Bigfoot mimicking an owl.
Of course. Throw that wrench in there too. Yeah. Well, it's interesting because barred owls I think are just by far the most common in most areas of North America. Yeah. They're actually also really aggressive from what I've read.
Are they? I hadn't heard that part.
Yeah, well, aggressive towards other owls. So they go into other owl habitat and really push them out. So I think, and they're I'm assuming the most numerous in most parts of North America. I know a lot of the places we've been, we get barred owls. Down south, that was really my first time. Spent a lot of time in Florida and Georgia. We heard them a lot. I was actually surprised. Even the Everglades, we heard a ton of them because I'm so used to it. Where I'm at in New Hampshire, the forests are probably more similar to what you have out in Western New York than they are to obviously down south. So it's kind of stuff I'm used to. But yeah, it was crazy how much barred owl action there was down in Florida. Yeah, it was like every night, multiple.
Well, the one thing that I keep that just keeps eluding me is in this area, I keep hearing this particular type of whistle. Now, I cannot figure out what, because I'm like, what kind of bird is that? What kind of bird is that? But I have not figured out what kind of bird it is. I can't find anything that really comes close. The closest thing that it sounds to me like is a person with really good lungs letting out a really good whistle, And I'll tell you, I had never actually heard anything about Bigfoot whistling until, not until recently, really. Maybe last year or the year before or something, maybe. And I went, huh. Well, I can't automatically say, oh, well, that's it. It's a Bigfoot. That's what. I still don't know what it is, but I find that interesting. But that's the one thing I can't figure out what that whistle is. I still think it's got to be a bird, man, because I have no facts or nothing to show that it's a Bigfoot whistling. But, you hear this quite often.
I know. I've never heard anything whistle like in the woods aside from humans, and actually, it's happened a few times. One of the funniest times was when Eli and I were in Utah, and we were like hanging out near this trail, and we just were kind of sitting there making lunch or something like that, relaxing. This area we'd backpacked into, and we started hearing this whistling, and it was like, and I'm like, who's doing this? And there was a hiker coming up the trail because we started doing whistles back, and I'm like, we're thinking to myself, I'm like, what is this, a ghost? What is going on here? This is crazy. And it happened to be a hiker. There are people that backpack.
Hey, I gotta go. I got a bear.
You got a bear?
I got a bear.
Oh crap! Are you? You got anything on you, man? Or
on?
All right. Make yourself. Yeah, make yourself. Oh, jeez. Do you have any sticks or anything? Stick them up in the air. Jeez, man. Yeah, the area he's walking in, it's this trail that goes down, and it's, you just got woods on both sides, and there's a power line kind of that goes through the area, and you all right there, man?
Go on.
So much for being quiet. I think at this point you gotta be full throttle.
Yeah.
That is
Sorry.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You all right there, dude?
Yeah.
You scare him off?
Did you see him?
Yeah. I saw its eye shine close to the ground. I thought it was just a fox at first.
Oh my gosh, jeez. And he's just walking out there alone. Are those bones breaking? Matt.
Well, New Hampshire Sasquatch, so I'm assuming it's a black bear, obviously.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
If it was Alaska, I don't think we'd be having this conversation.
Yeah, probably not. No.
Here, Mothman
that's
says, "Be on the bear to assert your dominance."
Yeah, right. That's been my experience, and not like I've seen a lot of black bears. I know they're all over New York State, but
yeah,
I don't see them very often, which is it's okay with me. I don't need to see them. But fortunately, they seem they're it's easy enough to scare them off most times.
Yeah, black bears for them. I've said this before. I'm not as scared of black bears as I am of moose, especially in a place like New Hampshire. We get a lot of moose, way more moose than bear. So that's
the only thing about this time of year is they have their cubs coming out right now.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
situation.
No,
and that was my concern.
No, you don't want to mess around. I mean, just because black bears are, the rate of attacks are pretty low, you do not want to take your chances, guys, especially if it's in an area that maybe they've been fed. They might not be scared of humans. That's a very dangerous situation. Or, as Evan said, with the cubs, I mean, this is that Tate says, we don't need another Timothy Treadwell audio thing here.
Yeah, right.
Definitely not.
Yeah, I had to turn off the mic because I kind of I cussed it out a bit.
Yeah, I don't blame you, but take it easy, man. Yeah, it's definitely not something to mess around with.
Yeah, I'm coming up to my car anyways now.
Yep, as Robin says, oh yeah, moose are worse than bears. They'll go after you and stomp you to the ground. Yeah, I mean, they'll attack snowmobilers. That's what up here we get snowmobiler attacks. And yeah, I mean, it's just they get crazy and they can get brainworm and they're just huge. They're like, I heard a description. It's basically they're almost like the AT-AT from Star Wars. It's like this giant thing of meat on popsicle sticks.
Yeah,
and they run at you. And so when you hit that with a car, that's why so many people get killed in moose crash incidents, because it'll fall right on the windshield. And I mean, you're talking 1,000 pounds. Forget about
Back
it.
in 2019 in the fall, I was up on Route 16 with my girlfriend at the time, and we were getting away for a little vacation right before our kid was born, and we were heading southbound towards the Jackson area, and we had a moose run right in front of the car. And mind you, her car, which I was driving at the time, is a little Honda Insight, which is smaller than a Civic, and the car was only up to the thing's like chest, but you can clearly see that there's something wrong with it, because when they have that brainworm, their eyes turn that milky white.
And they'll just keep going until their whole brain rots, and towards the end they'll like spin in circles. But in the earlier stages they can be aggressive. I mean, you just don't want to mess around with moose. I've told a lot.
Yeah, I'm really thankful, kind of, after all the things I've heard about mooses or meeses.
You guys don't have a lot out in your area.
We don't have any here in this part of the state. There are no moose.
I remember even in the Adirondacks when I was there a few years ago.
Now they have them up there.
Yeah, Mike from Tactical Bigfoot, he was saying, they have some moose, but they don't have nearly as many numbers-wise as compared to us in New Hampshire or Maine. I mean, Maine has the most in the lower 48 outside of Alaska, basically. Ridiculous amount.
I think most of the moose in the Adirondacks probably come across from Canada.
Vermont, yeah.
But I've seen droppings there, and I've never actually seen the moose. But I've seen their droppings, and I've seen their prints. But from all the stories, I'm glad that I don't have them here in this part of the state, because look, I told you, I made a confession on my show tonight too, dude. I'm afraid of deer, man. I'm serious. These white-tailed deer in this area, they get big. Now
they get big up here in Florida. They're like house cat sized.
Yeah,
that's
they
an exaggeration.
They don't get as big as a moose, but I've been charged. I've been charged by a buck, man. An 8-point buck, and scared the living crap out of me, dude. From that day forward, I'm like, that ain't Bambi.
Yeah.
That thing wanted to kill me.
Hey, I just wanted to ask a question before New Hampshire Sasquatch gets eaten alive, and plus I wanted to be on a stream when it happened, so that's why I popped on. But how horny are the owls on a scale of 1 to 10?
Just ignoring Tate's question.
he just texted me.
All right, fair enough. Well played, guys. Well played.
He said.
According to the name, they are greatly horny.
Yeah, I mean, if you heard them going in a tree all night over your tent, you'd know it's pretty wild.
I just wanted to respond to Joe's question when y'all were talking. I just in Florida, there's just so many researchers out there that if they can't explain an audio, they always say it's something mimicking. It's a Bigfoot mimicking.
Yeah,
there's something. And I tell you, I'm so sick of that. And we're catching really good audio of which most likely is a coyote. I sent it to 2 people, and one said possible Bigfoot, one said most likely a coyote.
Yeah.
So you hear it all the time, but like Alex said, I also have 2 weeks ago 17-inch impression, but in no way am I going to say it's a Bigfoot footprint. Is it the best I've seen that I've done in the 2-3 years? Yeah, I mean I feel inside it's legit, but it's an impression, man. I don't know why people have to justify their existence on being out there making themselves feel good by saying, well, could be a Bigfoot imitating a barred owl.
It's a slippery slope. It's like, once you get one thing that maybe is Bigfoot related, then everything suddenly becomes Bigfoot. I mean, I think it happens to plenty of people.
Exactly. And I don't think people realize how badly that damages their credibility from the get-go. Because when you hear it every week it gets old,
Oh no, I agree. Well, we have Robin Moonshadow who's come back in. What's going on, Robin?
How are you doing? I got my headsets on. I'm still hearing an echo, but if you guys can hear me okay, we're good. I'll just read lips.
Yeah, we can hear you good. I mean, thanks for coming on.
Good.
So I understand you wanted to talk about some of the hair stuff we were talking about earlier.
Oh yeah, the most important thing about hair is it degrades fast. So you have to keep it in a paper bag at room temperature.
That's paper.
And I do have Bigfoot hair here. I can't find it at the moment. This is my office workshop, and I'm just doing my spring cleaning. And of course, I misplaced it. When looking at it under a microscope, you'll see it's very different from everything else. I looked at like 200 different hair samples when I first got this hair. It has a very dark shaft down the middle of it. And even see how even human hair works this way. We have scales over top of our hair, okay, like this, like fish scales, and they're placed differently. A lot of what I have seen in the past has been deer and raccoon. But what I have here, I've never seen anything like it. I know some of you know that I went to school many years ago to be a veterinarian, and to be a veterinarian, you need to learn even hair. Blood samples, hair samples, scat.
Right, there'd be certain conditions with animals that you might need to look at their hair, right, to determine disease or health or that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like the same with the chupacabra, and their hair all falls out. They look totally different. Now you don't want to pick up hair with your bare hands either, because if they carry mange, you could catch mange. I mean, don't touch bones with your bare hands either. Always wear gloves. So yeah, Bigfoot hair looks very different. It looks a lot like human hair. And the samples that I have different colors through it. So we have a variation of black, charcoal gray, and copper. Well, I have scat samples that I like to think is a Bigfoot sample. So in the scat sample that I have, it does look like human feces, and it's big. I can't tell you if it's Bigfoot or not. Like I said, it's only in my head that I think that. It had acorns in it, and you got to have that major teeth to eat acorns. It had cereal grains, which are animal feed, and I got those in North Carolina.
Interesting.
So,
isn't there something about when it comes to hair? I've just spoken to Cindy Dosen about this in the past. I mentioned she's also veterinarian, and she does stuff with the Olympic Project. But I've heard in the past about with the hairs, like with human hairs, a lot of times you'll see those hard cuts because we get haircuts or we
that's true.
trim and that sort of stuff. Is that something that with animals you'd expect
that is
to not
true.
find
Yeah,
that?
the end should be tapered.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I haven't had a haircut for a long time, so
it's like tapered or
like this, not cut or sheared off. And it's always better if you have the bulb.
Yeah, because that's where you'd actually have.
That's where you can get the DNA. What they can do is, if they take the sample, because is that they'll put it into a serum and mix it up and try to get the DNA from it that way. The bulb is better. And what happened to me is when I got that hair sample, I called 20 different DNA places here, and I called a university, and they were interested until I said Bigfoot. That was the end of the conversation.
Yeah.
And that was 3 years ago. So I still have the hair. I don't think they'll get anything from it now. I keep it in a bag at room temperature, but it's degraded, and hair does degrade really fast because humans are very biodegradable.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm glad to finally hear somebody say the same thing that I say when it comes to collecting the samples, because I don't know how many things I've seen. I actually yell at the television and I know they can't hear me, but I constantly see these things where people are like going to collect samples and they'll pick it with their fingers. And I'm like, you dumbass, don't do that.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, don't touch it with your bare hands. I mean, you use,
always use gloves. Always use paper envelopes.
Tweezers.
Always use
tweezers. Now, do you recommend sterilizing the tweezers or cleaning them before collecting? I mean, if you've put your hands all over them, right?
Yeah, sterilize your tweezers. I mean, you can use alcohol because it dries fast. Make sure you wipe it off really well. Yeah. Because what if you do this? Then you're transferring your DNA onto that hair, and it's going to come back. And we get some of these. Oh, it came back human? Bigfoot's human. Look, we don't know that because we don't know how the samples have been collected and if they have been collected properly.
Yeah. I don't recommend Ziploc baggies for any kind of sample at all. Yeah. Paper envelopes.
I think Ziploc bags are okay for transferring, but what you need, and if you give me a second, I'll show you. Glass is always better because it can be sterilized. Because once you use plastic, it's done. Give me a sec. I'll show you what I've got.
Yeah, it's interesting. I know, like in 2016, when I found some weird hair in the woods. I mean, it probably was a lighter colored black bear with because black bears can get that variation where they get sort of light colored. But I put it in a Ziploc bag, and then I found out later on, well, you're not supposed to do that.
Oh yeah, hair will degrade quickly, and the reason is one of the reasons is because those Ziploc baggies can sweat.
Yes,
yeah. That will degrade the hair sample even quicker.
Right on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's definitely interesting. I mean, I think
these are great little things for. Sorry, these are great little things for collecting things. So with it being glass, like I said, you can re-sterilize
the little vials.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Like various sizes.
I don't know why I just became the big screen here.
Yeah, those work well too.
These are great. These are great. I got lots.
Oh, there we go.
Things
if you want to hold those up again, Robin, I was trying to figure out how to get you the.
This is a screw on top, and this is great for water, blood samples.
Cool.
And environmental DNA.
eDNA.
Urine samples if you can get close enough to get one.
Yeah, I'm not going to sneak up behind a Bigfoot and ask for blood or with a needle. I'll get pounded into the ground like a nail. We always joke about that. So these glass ones are great for liquids.
Yeah, I think we're gonna probably do some of those little jars for Alaska when we do some eDNA stuff. For,
like I said, glass is always better, but plastic will work. And Ziploc bags are good if that's what you got, but they're only good for transfer.
Right on. And then, you know, where people can find this kind of stuff. I mean, medical supply stores, or what do you recommend for places to get this sort of stuff? Is there like veterinarian?
I got all this from Amazon.
From Amazon, there you go. Well, you can get anything on Amazon, right?
Yeah. I used to have to go over to college to get my slides for my microscope, but I can get those.
And if you can find a place that sells materials for forensic collection, they'll have a lot of that stuff.
And always put the date, time, location, where you got them, because if you're collecting a lot of samples that day, you're going to forget which is which.
Yeah, you don't want to get things mixed up.
Now, I have a juvenile Bigfoot print cast. Did you want to see that?
Yeah, sure. If you want to show us, check it out.
You know,
I've showed them before, but not on.
I've never
my backpack.
Found any juvenile footprints ever.
It's a little tough to see.
Yeah, it broke in my backpack. Yeah, this isn't a proto-pygmy, everybody. This is a juvenile Bigfoot. You can tell by the toes.
Do you have maybe like a darker background you might be able to put it against?
Yeah, I do actually.
Just a little bit harder to see. Okay, yeah, that's a little bit easier to see now.
Wow, that kind of looks like the possible juvenile track that I found, Alex.
Interesting.
And the track that you have that you showed online recently, I do have one similar to that. You know, in different
we showed
locations,
that one. That was the New Hampshire one.
Tracks, even after it rains, even if it's a good print, it depends on the environment, right? Yeah, let me show you this one.
Shane has a good comment there too.
Yeah, I was going to read that. So Cindy brings up a good point. She says GPS coordinate on samples is good too. Yep, just so you can always go back to location. Then Shane, what is going on, man? He says, video everything you do when it comes to sample collection in the field. This will help showcase how the samples are collected. Absolutely. Transparency.
Well, yeah, that's
even
right.
Tripod, just film yourself doing whatever.
Always.
Yep. Yeah, plenty of pictures, plenty of video, plenty of documentation, that is.
Yep.
Now, I do have it outlined here in the black marker, despite the fact I hate circling anything. And I put this one off to the side, but it looks so much like the one that you have. I went and got it out. And I believe this is a female.
So where are some of these tracks?
That's a female.
Yeah, go, Evan, go ahead.
Go ahead.
What would tell you that it's a potential female?
It's smaller.
Smaller?
It's smaller.
Any possibility it could be a teenager?
Yes, it could be.
All right.
But it goes with weight.
Weight as well?
Yeah.
So where did you cast that?
Sorry, I'm getting a bit of an echo, so I'm trying to listen and catch up. Weight.
Yeah, where
did
you make those castings? That one and the smaller one?
This one, I got this one last year. Down on the mountain is I know you don't know what I'm talking about. It's one of my scouting locations. Here in Ontario, Canada. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. There's a little bit of a delay or something going on. That's okay, though.
Now, the male track I have, it also broke, and it's about an 18-incher. Like, it's one of the biggest ones that I've seen. Now, there's probably some slide on it because it did get in the mud. What I mean by slide is, even when we walk in the mud, even if we're not as big and as heavy, we leave some backtracking. So from when the mud flips off, or you might not even realize that your heel has slipped some. So it's at least 16. Like I said, it's broken. And there's a little tiny bit of a tip here too.
A little difficult to see.
Yeah, sorry. You can
That's
see where his toes parted in the mud. And it's not a double bear track because there's no toe prints in the back.
Yeah, Robin, if you'd like to send me these photos some point, I'd definitely like to see it. It's a little hard to see, I think, with the quality of the webcam, seeing much detail. So I would be curious to see it otherwise, though, if you'd care to send some of that stuff over or via Facebook or whatever.
Because when I go out to do research, I just throw things in my backpack and I go. I'll do up to like 20 miles both ways in a day because since COVID, they're a little bit harder to find. You have all kinds of people packing into parks and things, and it pushes them further out because their objective is to avoid us. So in order to avoid us, they're going to go out further. So then you have to go in further to find any evidence. I know it's been that way here in Canada where I'm at. So
interesting, yeah. Yeah, I've heard a lot of reports over the years from Ontario. I mean, there's a lot of wilderness up in that area.
There is, and it's not just
right across the lake from us.
Really, whereabouts are you at?
Well, I'm in the western part of New York State, but Lake Ontario is just north of me, so right across Lake Ontario is boom.
Well, I'm heading to towards Adirondacks in July. I've been up in the Adirondacks.
Don't go until after July 4th.
Oh, I'm not. It's further towards the 20th.
Because up until July 4th, the black flies will kill you.
We get black flies here too. They're terrible. They don't bother me so much, but they bother my partner. They love him. It's like blood bank, free food type thing. The last time I was in Adirondacks was 4 years ago. My partner might have found a track, but it was about 2:00 in the morning. We heard a loon go off. Now he's from North Carolina. He's never heard what a loon sounds like. And he's like, what's that? So we hear the loon, and then we hear the Bigfoot holler answer. I'm like, that's not a loon. Because and the one time we didn't think to put out a recorder either, but it'll be ready for this time. But yeah, it was great. So we go to this location called Bug Lake, where we figure the sound came from, and here's the loons. And I do something I don't do very often. I'll do a couple whoops or hollers. And we heard this tremendous noise from just across the lake. We couldn't see because the bush is thick, but it was coming at us like a train. And as soon as it got where it could actually see us clear, it just stopped. And then everything went dead quiet. And I was like, wow. Well, I'm never going to whoop and holler while I'm by myself, but like we could assume it was a Bigfoot. We think it's a Bigfoot, but we have no pictures. So we can't say for sure 100% what it was. Like you were talking earlier about assuming noises and things like that. Look, at all kinds of things make all kinds of noises. We have fisher cats here. They scream and it sounds crazy. Like somebody's being murdered. When I first heard it, I was actually sitting right here and my window was open and scream. I'm like this. And I knew it was a fisher, right?
Yeah. When I was in college, we had a fisher on a roof. We call them fisher cats here, but I was living with 4 other dudes. We'd rented this house and this was in Connecticut. I mean, this was like suburban, but we had a lot of woods around, and fisher started going off at 3 a.m, and all my housemates, they were convinced it was a woman being murdered or raped or something.
Yeah, because that's what
they were about to call the cops, and I'm like, no, it's an animal. You can hear it on the roof. You can hear the fisher, and I played YouTube sounds of fisher for them. And
because they're and it's high pitched and it sounds so intense, shrill. Like somebody needs help or somebody's scared or something's going on. It's a fisher cat.
Yeah, it's pretty disturbing when, especially out in the woods, and you hear that at night. It's definitely not fun.
Owls make all kinds of noise.
We
have barred owls here too, but not in the general area for like 30 years because of a pesticide that the government was spraying has made their eggs soft. So they're rare in the area. And I was in South Carolina when I first heard one. And like I said, I hadn't heard one since I was a kid. And that just screamed, and it woke me from a dead sleep. And I said, what is that? Partner says, well, that's a barred owl. I'm like, oh, Lord.
Yeah, for folks that aren't familiar. Go ahead.
I had a Fisher cat scream like it sounded like he was right behind my tent.
Oh, yeah.
And I was sound asleep, man. And that thing screamed and woke me up. I was like, and it scared the living crap out of me. Because, like, I've heard bobcats, and bobcats, they sound like a woman being murdered, too. But I knew it wasn't a bobcat. But my mind immediately, when I heard this Fisher cat, there's this movie, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's about these guys that go out. They're deer hunters, and they're going onto this certain piece of property to try to get this one deer that, you know, and they're
right back, guys.
They have a hunting podcast or a hunting show that they're doing all this for. But they get out in the woods and they meet up with this legend. It wasn't even I thought it was a Bigfoot story, but it wasn't. It was something more like this supernatural entity. And there was this scream in that movie of this woman, this ghostly woman that was like this scream. And that's what went through my head. As soon as I heard that Fisher cat, I was like, oh my God, I'm in that situation them guys in the movie were in. And I was expecting to see some kind of old hag outside of my tank, but
I have two Fisher cats here. One is a small female, and they tend to get nasty here, and they've been known to attack people.
Oh yeah.
The female, she's walked right out in front of me before. I'm like, I froze. Just go on your way. And then the male, he's about 30 pounds, and he is big. He is huge, and I actually have a trail camera video of him coming right up behind a fox, and that fox's tail's crooked, and he's just booking it out of there. Yeah. But now
they're
when
mean.
I see this big one come around, I start carrying my gun.
Yeah, they're mean. They're mean. I've heard that.
I'm not going to deal with him. I'm not going to deal with that Fisher cat. Bears make me nervous because I had something happen 20 years ago in British Columbia, but I'm actually more leery about the Fishers than the bear. I've had a bobcat this year, and I haven't had a bobcat in my area in ever.
Yeah, I've only got one picture of a bobcat on trail cam. I mean, I know they're all over New York, really. But you very rarely see them. Yeah. And I caught that one
picture on a trail cam, and I couldn't believe it.
Beautiful.
So, Matt, you got. I'm going to share this thing you put in here, Matt. What is this? Oh, this is the track.
There it is.
Yeah, so I wanted to show you all.
That's a deep one.
That's
wow! Look at that.
I love the scan.
One, huh?
It's 17 inches by 8 inches at the front part where the toe would come into the foot. And there's the underground. You can see what the cast would show you if I were to cast that.
Yeah,
this is something Joey and I found.
See, and I would assume that is a younger male.
I'm calling it an impression.
Yeah,
it's the first one I found that made me think this is interesting.
I don't know, it's a pretty good one though, Matt.
Yeah, what's weird is see right there on the left side, there's a high ridge. It's almost like he has a high ridge. It has a high ridge or deeper impression on the outside of the foot, and the inside is all raised, almost like a half inch. Yeah. It's really strange. If you hit play again, you'll see it. But
there we go.
There's one part of the video when I tilt it to show where the toes would be, where you think like right there. But watch that.
I could actually see them. Yeah,
it looks like toes to me. So
yeah, it does.
That's going to be in my next video. And Alex, this is right across the road where you all flew the drone toward. This is what you flew.
Oh, cool.
So you just missed it by like 4 weeks.
Of course.
That's got good potential.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
Sometimes when you find anomalies in your footprints, because they walk flat where we walk, think of them as low steppers and as high steppers. But
yeah,
if you
there's
find
a
an
deep,
anomaly,
there's a
it just
deep
be because
groove
they
on
have
one
a
side
sore
of the
foot.
foot. Yeah, it's like one side of the foot is deep all the way than the other side, and that's what threw me. Then I sit there and looked at it for a long time. So the next question was there a trackway? Was there a second print? And I shot that with the iPhone Pro 13, by the way, using a 3D scanner app, which is what I use now because I do all videos. I don't care about having a cast. I don't. Especially
Mike loves that stuff, man.
It's a good
Yeah,
thing
you
to
send me a
use.
copy of that app because I do have a 3D printer.
I'll tell you what. I'll send you the app if you can look at this threads of print.
Everybody can holler at me like
barter.
I'm a tracker. like I am a tracker. I can track.
I don't know what this
is.
I will tell you, it looks like to me it was a good, and we have video of us measuring it.
And you said you didn't get a second print?
There's impressions all around it, but if you look at the surface and the ground, it's leaves and everything else all around.
Yeah,
and
it's that leaf litter.
You could see where
that's the best one.
That's the best one and the only one that I would even consider.
Yeah, because sometimes you can't get a second print because if there are people around and they know it, they do their best not to show prints. I was up at a place called Stand in Indian just before COVID. We heard them wood knocking before they came across the road, and I'm thinking, great, we're going to get some awesome prints in the morning because it was raining and it was muddy. The buggers walked in the grass.
It's that one angle right there. You can kind of really see the toe.
It's interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's
at least what looks like toe indentations to me.
I mean, so that's the thing. That's like with the track that we got in New Hampshire. You know, there was general impressions. There was one that shows some kind of digits. I don't know what they are. I mean, it's just
if I'd have found that one, man, I'd have definitely attempted to.
I would have probably cast it too. But hey, this is the next best thing. I mean, this is much better than a picture of which of course you should take pictures for measurement purposes and all that stuff.
Yeah, we have all that.
Yeah,
that is
absolutely.
A good track. You can see toe imprints. You can see the heel prints. And you can actually see here when they lifted their foot up, how there was some mud fell off here off to the side.
Yeah, on the right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Bigfoot has a really hard.
The Bigfoot research showed me that.
Right, and that they're thick boned, obviously, and have that hard surface on their foot. And you think they're really, really tough, but they do they do hurt their feet from time to time.
Yeah. Well, I give the credit here. I'm using the app that was shot with. I wanted to talk about. I'm sorry this is late. You were showing your track, and I was trying to. Someone told me how to get this off my phone and do a screen video of my phone. I didn't know there was video screen captures on your iPhone. So this is the very first time I used it. I just created this literally 15 minutes ago. No one has seen this on any live anywhere. I mean, I've showed it to a handful of people. But what's really cool about it, there's another app, and I wanted to ask you guys what you thought. Have you all looked at an app called What 3 Words?
What 3 words? No, I don't think so.
Okay, well, I need to cover it. Well, let me find out which word it's on though first.
Evan, how you doing out there, Evan?
Apps, and they're not.
I'm just keeping an eye out for that.
They're not so great for my 3D printer. I mean, the bed is about 8 inches long.
Okay, this is the app, and so wherever you are in the world,
I see
wherever you are in the world, anywhere in the world, it gives 3 words. Oh, you can't read them, hopefully, but anyway,
I won't focus.
I don't want it to focus. But anyway, anywhere you are in the world, it will do I think it's a 10 foot by 10 foot square.
Nice.
And it will, and my marking was rainbow, option, encounter. So if you all had the My 3 Words app, I think is what I just said it was. What 3 words? Sorry, what 3 words? All together. What number 3 words? If you had that app and I were to tell you rainbow, option, encounter, the software picks the words.
You could send it to me.
You would be able to go to a 10-foot square radius of where I found that print.
Oh, that's very cool.
So I mark all my structures that way now. I mark the prints that way. I mark, and I can actually label them and say, hold on, can't show that one. Hang on, can't show that one. Yeah. Okay, let's say I'm marking a gate of somewhere, like a gate, how to get to the gate. I can drop that to you. What's nice about it is you can pretty much have an open chat. And we could be talking, unless everyone has that app, they could decode it. But I could be talking to Alex now and say, crabby exceptional workforce. And he could go to his app, enter that in, and he would know exactly where I'm talking about and where we're going to meet up.
Ah, nice.
Within 10 square feet. So it's and as a backup, it drops the GPS coordinates on the bottom. So you got both.
So if you didn't have service, I mean, you'd essentially have to rely on that, yeah.
But I haven't found a way.
You could try, Alex, when you head to Alaska.
I haven't found a way to basically show all my activity and what's happening where to actually see visually, because I'm a visual person. If there's something going on visually, like a line or clusters of my own findings, it helps with that. So I have I have one here. It's called something TP, something gate, the location itself, and then there's up in the green swamp. I have one that's like I didn't label that one, but you can label it and add a photo to it too.
That's
so
cool.
Like I can drop the photo in with the footprint and the 3 words. It's just using tech in the field because
definitely.
Alex, I don't know about you, but you and I are making videos, and my hang up now is working with you. What little bit we did, you got in my head now, and I'm trying to produce a video, and I'm like, going, I can do better.
Yeah,
damn it, I can do better.
Where I am here in Ontario, I'm closer to. I know you will know. I'm closer to Kingston. So I'm just about right in the middle of 2 international bridges. So where I'm going in the Adirondacks took me 3 hours to get to the last place. It's only about 2 hours the next time. Okay. So I can just drive over. Where I'm going in July is the other bridge. It tends to sway, so I'll be sitting on the floor as we go over the bridge.
Well, you can navigate to these spots too. You could be wherever, anywhere in the world, pick the one and say navigate, and it'll take you right there.
Right on.
Yeah, so a little tech out there.
Yeah, Matt's always up there with the tech angle of things. It's always fun to hear. That 3D scanning stuff is amazing. I mean, that's what we got. That Florida Panther track with that. Have you ever tried using a FLIR
on some of these footprints to see if they're still warm?
I've never found one that's been
didn't
recent
even think
enough.
of it.
Yeah.
My FLIR is over here. It's on my cat phone. Was the main reason I bought that phone is because it's the built-in.
Damn, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, I know. Me either. But you got to check anyhow, just in case. In September, I should have tried it. The tracks we found were no more than 15 minutes old, and so I'm hurrying. I had gotten stung in the foot by a hornet, so my foot was sore, and the hornet nailed me twice. So I'm hurrying to catch it, and it must have heard us coming because it went down into a ravine, and I wasn't going down in that ravine. But if I could have ran, I probably would have caught at least a glimpse of it, at least. And that was probably one of the precious prints that
you make a note of.
I've seen in 20 years. Because they hear you come and they skedaddle.
Interesting. So I've got to read this comment here from Ryan. I don't know if Ryan, did you get out to the field yet? But Matt, Ryan is asking, what are the apps again? 3D app and location app?
The location one is what 3 words. So it's WHAT numeral 3 words.
What 3 words?
And then the app I used, I'm going to give you that one, but check back with me. There may be a better one that someone sent me that will actually produce a video on its own that somebody was telling me about.
I want to say that Tate on the newer iPhones, there's actually a feature that you can do that with. I don't know. Tate's still in the chat, but I know that's what he got that Florida Panther track that we found. We never casted it, but we have that scan and he has the video of it. I don't know if that was the app or if it may have been an internal feature. I'm not sure though.
Ron is watching, so he's laughing at my shirt.
Oh, cool. What's up, Ron?
Huh?
So hey, I got to jump off, Alex. I appreciate you.
Hey, yeah, man. And, thanks for coming on,
everybody.
Message me after, will you?
And I'm sorry.
Message me after, will you?
Okay, sure.
Okay,
sure.
You.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Up that way.
The 3D app that I use is TRNIO. Trinio.
Is that the one that Matt or Mike uses? Matt, do you know?
Yeah, Mike is the one that has turned me on to all this stuff because
he's been talking about it. He's been talking about it for a while.
Yeah, he's been talking about it for a while. I'm kind of taking the lead on getting the actual image 3D printed. So the curiosity is, and I'm also talking to Steve, Curious Cryptid, and we're talking about resolution. So the question is, can these 3D apps, can we shoot it like, say, Alex, with your Sony?
Yeah,
a much higher res camera.
That would be incredible.
Do the same due diligence of the 360 circling, because what you do in the iPhone is you circle and it uses LiDAR. So as it's taking the photos, the image thing fills up with dots.
Mm-hmm.
And when you see that it looks like it has completed and it's full of dots, which are details and photos, you stop circling. And then on this one, what I did is went down in closer and moved around a second time. Now, I don't know if it could compute that or if it just used one of the passes. I don't know. But the reason why I did the second pass closer was I was trying to see if it would get the detail that Curious Cryptid Steve was saying that we're not going to get with the iPhones, meaning you're not going to see the fingerprints or the actual
dermal stuff.
The question is, Alex, can we shoot it with our higher end cameras? Still take the 50, 60, 70, 80 photos by circling it and getting up close, moving it to the software, and then having them use higher res images. Would it take it? Would it compute it? And then would it be the magnification enough to see what Steve wants to see? Because he's saying, it's pretty much useless unless, we can see this or that.
Yeah,
I'm making videos. I don't care about that sort of detail. I care about what's going on in the environment. Are there structures? Are there tree markings? Are there any visuals? Are there prints? Was there audio? Now, this is the same place where we heard a really, really strange audio 4 times that, again, one person says is a potential Bigfoot out of range of any known animal. And then the other one saying it's a coyote. And so now I'm doing the research of what animals take and what the range they fall on. So
you said Trinio, right?
Yeah.
So it's you said TRI. Spell it again.
TRNIO.
TRNIO. Oh, gotcha. Okay.
See, the thing with me. Go ahead.
But there's another one.
Joe, if you got to hop off, man, go for it.
Yeah. I just want to tell New Hampshire Sasquatch, hey, stay safe out there, man. I think that bear's probably gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll tell you all the good stuff when Joe gets off.
And everybody, just
take
remember.
It easy. Thanks for swinging by.
Talk to you soon.
Stick to the facts. Don't deviate from the facts. See you guys.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's some interesting conversations going on in the chat.
Technology is that it can show us maybe small, minute details within the footprint. If it's a scar or something, then we'll be able to see if this a particular Bigfoot or Bigfoot family is in certain areas at certain times of the year.
Right, and
this is a way that we can track it without actually having to use like radio collars. That ain't gonna work.
There isn't.
Now here's something that I made on the 3D printer. It's just It's just a square.
Okay.
It's purple because it's my favorite color, but
how big will your printer go up to? If I have a measurement of 17
it's
inches,
about an 8 by 8, but if you do you can split it in half and then maybe glue it together or something like that, because you can paint that stuff, do what
it'd be just like breaking them in your backpack.
Yeah, but smoother.
Yeah,
okay, there's
right
the second app. The second app is Scaniverse. SCANIVERSE.
Scaniverse.
And a friend of mine sent me this because it makes the video. One of the outputs is the video. I have to do a screen capture using a second app. But this this is a video. This is a video that he just sent me of what it does. And that's the video the app made.
Oh, cool.
Oh, yeah, I see. That's cool.
Now, the difference in the one I made, I controlled what I wanted the movement to be. So I was able to show it loose and then zoom in on the upper part of the foot, tilt it to show you what I wanted you to see, and then flip it to the backside. So I kind of like being in control of the video of what I want to show you. But what's nice, Alex, is that you and I are making films. So now when I go and Joey and I had the video of us doing that print in the upper corner, I'm going to pop in this video of what it looks like and spin it while people are watching it. And I think that's going to add so much to what, you're doing and what I'm doing that.
Oh, definitely.
To me,
very useful.
That's better than having, a 17-inch print mounted to the wall.
It's cool. I mean, if you can get both, I mean, the more data you get, the better, I think, ultimately.
Right.
I thought that would be useful. I mean, a track can tell us so much about a Bigfoot anyways. You could get a loose estimated height and weight, and maybe it's a male or a female, and behavioral wise. Like a lot of times I'll see them just going around and round and round, just foraging and things. For a couple of years in a row, I was seeing Bigfoot tracks that was missing this toe on its foot. Now, I haven't seen that for quite some time, but it was a track that I would have liked to have gotten. And you can't always do like a plaster cast in the ground. You'll see impressions, and they're not deep enough, and you could even dig a trench. It's not going to work. They're just going to come out all messy. So things like that could actually get some of that impression and get more detail in it, I believe.
So how long do you have to wait for these casts to dry? Isn't it like 4 or 5 hours?
No, less.
No.
Depends on the
minutes.
weather.
Yeah, and the environment, how hot the ground is, 30 minutes.
Well, this is wet. This track was really
Florida
wet.
Probably longer, and I'd imagine a wet environment like the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, and if it's really wet, then just don't add so much water to the cast. So it's like
there's a lot of variables. Depends on the material you use too. I mean, whether it's
this is just whatever, but plaster cast from Home Depot.
Yeah, that's the most basic stuff. That's what we cast our print a few weeks ago. But there's a lot of interesting conversations going on in the chat. And as we're slowly kind of winding down here, just wanted to, I see there was a conversation Brian was having with username Slim Pickens about some audio experience. And there was a couple questions about, I think I saw one earlier from Rebecca about, and then Kevin's asked it as well, how can you tell male from female based on the footprint? Can we even do that with people? And I did see a comment about that, which I do have to agree with. There's no way to tell. There's absolutely no way to tell the sex of the creature that left the impression. Stay centered. Yeah, I think that's very difficult. I mean, Matt, you would probably agree
it is hard. We can only assume, there's some sexual dimorphism between males and females. And then you add with like what you were saying earlier about how some animals are bigger than other animals. So let's say here the males are bigger, the females are smaller, but there might not be a big size range between it. So it depends on where about in North America you are. And it is just a hypothesis.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of questions. I mean, Papa's got a pretty good solution here. He says, traces of nail polish, ?
Not on me.
That's good. Obviously. You
imagine that, though. Oh, the Bigfoots are wearing nail polish because we got nail polish in the samples. Are they like pink or red? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that video of the Sasquatch, the dancing lady who was in the costume with like she puts on the pink stuff and the long hair.
Yeah. And
the bass squatch. Yeah, that one. Maybe that's how you tell. Yeah. Or Butchie Kid. Yeah. Butchie Kid. Anyone ever watched those videos back in the day? Folks that might know Butchie Kid, you'll know what I'm talking about. That guy had some funny videos on YouTube. But it's been fun, guys. A lot of cool conversations.
Well, thanks for having me on and letting me pop in and practically taking over your show. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Thanks for coming on and sharing some interesting stuff about sample collection and definitely interesting. And that's why I kind of never really done this sort of open format thing. So figured I would just give it a try. Cindy says, I love him for Butchie Kid. Yeah. Butchie Kid was this channel, guys, that back in the day, he used to make these videos of, it was just complete satire. Him in a gorilla costume in the woods, and Bigfoot would be flipping him off or steal his car in the middle of the woods. And it was some funny stuff. I don't know if it's still on YouTube, if that's inappropriate for YouTube nowadays, but there was some rather choice stuff in those. But I definitely recommend going down the Butchie Kid rabbit hole. Some good stuff there.
Yeah.
I have enough rabbit hole.
And we may have the record for the longest podcast you've had, Alex.
That's what everyone would say. I don't know, man. I think I've had ones that have gone almost 2.5. I don't know. I mean, unless you know the numbers off the top of your head, I don't know. Maybe I'm not sure. It could be.
Well, sometimes you have have everything thrown out there too, and then you exchange ideas and the what ifs and the what cans and what nots. Sure. So I mean, to me, everybody, it's just gotten so competitive. And if everybody would actually get together and talk, we could learn so much more from each other, because there are places I can't go and places you guys can't go.
Sure.
And sharing of information is important.
It is. And I think that there's, different factors going on in different areas. I mean, there's so many questions we really don't know. And I mean, with all the BS that's out there.
Yeah, and have a really good discussion without, egos getting in the way and not like that, and be willing to bend some and like that, this kind of thing, because it's important. Like Absolutely. The question I want to ask you guys is, why do you want to prove Bigfoot's real?
Why not?
That's the question that always gets everybody going. Like for me, I don't think there's a whole ton of them, or we'd be seeing them. There wouldn't be any. They'd be as common as deer. Right. So I don't think there's that many. And I think they should be protected. Of course, I'd like to see one again. I won't run away this time, though, Like I said to my partner, he says, what would you do if one came right up to you? I'm like, I'd stand still. I'd have my GoPro on and I would stand there and let them come to me this time. Because my first sighting was when I was 13, and it scared the heck right out of me. I knew what I was looking at, but it scared me. It didn't do anything to not aggressive whatsoever. I was coming out of the field. My sock got caught in the barbed wire fence. I turned around, and there it was right in front of the tree. He was about 6 foot. He looked a lot like Patty. He was a beauty. Now, I can't remember if he had the saddle crest, cone head. I couldn't see his feet because the bush is there. But I just stared at him, and he just looked at me. And it was like slow motion. It was probably only about 2 minutes. And he actually just scratched his leg. And that was it. I ripped my sock out of the barbed wire fence, and I made a run for home. I don't think I ran so fast in my life. I cleared like a 5-foot fence. But
interesting.
Yeah, and I was so scared he was going to come after me. He didn't. And it took about 2 weeks, and then I told my mother what happened, and we went to the spot. But, there wasn't any evidence there now. But now
thanks for sharing.
Over to me. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, it's, I think that's part of the drive is, what motivates people. And, I hear a lot of these stories, and I get a lot of people who send me their stories, and, we've had a lot of weird stuff happen. I've never had anything conclusively. I mean, it's just seeing some of these areas and the environments are just absolutely amazing. And even a spot like the one Evan's in tonight, it's a,
you find out kids do get a lot of Bigfoot sightings, but they're not going to tell their parents. They're scared. Parents aren't going to believe them and things like that. Or what if it happened to me, right? Don't tell my mother because, you know, they might come get them. But my interest in these kind of things started when I was 5 years old. So it's never stopped. Like I said, I knew I was looking at a Bigfoot. I was just wowed by it because I didn't think I was ever going to see one. And I was in the woods and up on the mountain all day. So I don't know how long he'd been there, if he was following me around or if I was just coming through at that location where he was at. I don't know.
Right.
But, you know, he didn't hurt me. He didn't try to get me.
Did you come from the same? Did you come from the same direction when you turned back and looked, or did you come from like 20, 30, 40 degrees from a different direction?
Yeah, I went in a different way in the woods and came out a different way.
Okay.
So it was about 5 o'clock at night when I was headed back. I'd been there all day. Like I don't know. I probably went into the woods around 10 in the morning, came back at night.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting.
I had 500 acres to play on, 2 mountains, you know, there's a lake, a creek, swamps. So 500 acres for me just to go roam on because it's farmland.
Yeah, fascinating.
Yeah.
Oh, really cool, guys. Brian, who's our moderator, and thanks for that, Brian. He says, good open mic. Definitely wouldn't be bad doing it again sometime. Yeah, I might do it every once in a while. There's a lot of other shows that do that, and that's their kind of thing. And I respect that. I just kind of was, I wanted to do a solo show first and figured, hey, why not do this? But thank you, Peggy Curtis, for that super chat. Appreciate that. Northwest Sasquatch asks, have you been out with Chris Spencer? Yeah, he's the man. I want to get out there more with him. And actually, here's Chris himself. He says, you should have Nathaniel Bronis on your show. Oh, definitely. Yeah, I think once I get the show kind of back up and running in the summer, after I do my little hiatus here, that'll be fun. Thanks again, Cindy. Everyone, and Kevin says, fun show, guys. This unique format was cool for a change of pace. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you. Yeah,
what part of Alaska are you going to?
So I was talking about it earlier. We're going to be going to a few different parts. We'll be in the Kenai Peninsula, as well, and up towards Denali and that whole area. So I'll talk more about it. I think maybe obviously after the fact, but we'll bring it up a little bit in the next few shows as well. But I do want to get one last update from Evan up there out in the woods. What's going on, man? Anything?
It's relatively quiet. Seems like all the animals have gone off their different ways.
Maybe that's why it was so quiet, that you had that bear
run
in. Maybe that was foreboding.
Brian.
Gosh, that was I don't think, that's a unique. I'm glad you're okay. It was definitely a little nerve-wracking on our end. I think Joe and I don't know if Matt was on for that part yet, but we were just kind of like, oh gosh, what's gonna go on here?
Yeah, I heard you know me. I'm just as big as the bear.
He would tackle the bear. He'd be making bear steaks by the end of the night if that bear tried to mess around.
Bear barbecue.
Absolutely. I've heard it's not bad from certain people, which I'd be surprised at. Bear.
It's greasy. It's very greasy.
Bear and mountain lion. I've heard on Meat Eater they've talked about mountain lion, which is weird because carnivores have a very gross stomach. I don't imagine that being something fun to eat, but who knows? But I'm always open to try.
Yeah, I'm planning to get out of the field right now.
Right on. Well, thanks for doing the in the field reporting. I guess that was definitely a nice twist on here.
I'll try it again.
For sure.
Well, thanks for letting me pop on, Alex.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming by.
And please be careful. I have an idea of where you're going, so please be double careful. It was nice to talk to you, Matt. Holler anytime. I'm here. You be safe out there in New Hampshire, Squatch. Have a good night, everybody. It was nice talking to everybody.
Thank you.
Holler at me anytime. Okay, have a good night, everybody.
Bye-bye. So, there's Rebecca saying bear is good. Oh, I'll have to try it sometime, Rebecca. Thanks. But guys, like I said, just a fun kind of change of pace. Appreciate everyone coming in. I mean, I know it was a Wednesday show, so not really the usual Monday thing. We will be back this coming Monday with Paul Graves is coming on. And then we're going to be doing one more Wednesday show next week, and then the final 100th episode. And I talked about it at the beginning of the show, but we're going to do a charity kind of giveaway thing where basically you put in a certain amount of money and you get a certain amount of entries, and we're going to be giving away some pretty cool prizes, and that's all going to go to a charity Merlin's Kids, which I've done before for charity drives, which is they work with troubled kids and rehabilitating dogs. So it's kind of like a 2-in-1 thing, and they're really cool. So we'll do that. We'll also be giving away some prizes. We'll do like a couple trivia questions and give away stickers and stuff like that. So that'll be the 100th show. That'll be kind of a good way to go out for right before I take my hiatus there, at least till the summer. So should be fun. So hoping to see everyone on there. We'll have a bunch of people on chat for that as well. I think Emily and possibly Carrick and Eli and some folks. So we'll make it work. But until then, 2 shows until then. So Northwest Sasquatch says he barely made it back in one piece. That's good. I like that. Always end on a good humorous note. Absolutely. Cool, guys. Well, thanks again. Thanks for stopping by, Matt. Awesome to check out that track.
Jump on.
That was awesome. Always great to talk to you. Always good to talk to you, Evan, as well. And hopefully we can get out there in the woods soon, man.
Yeah, I got to have my surgery first, but maybe before that.
Right on. Right on.
No.
I'll hit you up. All right, guys. I'm hopping off here, and I got to go do my cardio. I got to go run around some stairs. I'm doing this hardcore Alaska prep. My smoothie is just settled in, so I'm going to do this hardcore cardio. I'm doing like 5-6 days a week of up and downs to get the mountain, get hiking ready instead of just going brutally into it. So, yeah.
Well, you have fun out there.
Absolutely. Well, I'm sure we'll be in touch before that, Matt. But we'll be in contact. So thanks again, guys. Everyone in the chat, as always, thank you, and see you guys on Monday and then next Wednesday as well. So we'll be talking to everyone, and everyone have a great rest of your week.
Have a good one.